4, 3, 2, 1.
My prickly pals, and welcome back to Sunset City, the Sonic podcast for the modern and classic age. Today, we've got our usual hosts. There is to the left of me, Nick.
Good morning, Vietnam.
And then we have, this controversial thing over here, Ceres.
Oh, hi, you again.
And we have Wayne, who is also noteworthy for his own reasons.
I'm tired.
Wow, that was the most backhanded introduction.
And today we also have special guest Stuart Gipp. Would you care to introduce yourself, Stuart?
Hello, yeah. It is actually Jip, but it's fine.
Okay, my
it's
bad.
spelled Gip. No, if I'm going to have a name that's stupid, then I expect it to be pronounced incorrectly. Oh,
Just
yeah.
one of
Good
many
morning, Vietnam.
consequences.
Oh, no, Nick used mine. Oh, no. Go on.
For those who don't know Stuart, he's been a little bit controversial in the Sonic community. As far as Sonic controversial goes, don't worry, he hasn't said anything racist or anything, Nick. But
Oh my god, no!
I remember that episode. Nick was present for the whole thing. Those were some awful things you said, man.
That was the casualist of racism.
Let's focus on our guest. Because first off, how dare you?
I didn't know I'd be on this with a racist.
Me neither!
So, basically, for those that don't know, about a week or so ago, a little more than that, Nintendo Life released an article called, 30 Years, Many Faces of Mario or something.
Yeah.
God.
It was that. And it got some Sonic fans a little upset. So we've got the author of said article on today to share his kind of perspectives and just discuss that article with us and everything. Now, I must really stress, guys, on your best behavior in the chat, okay? Be respectful. Whether you like his article or not, he's a human being. And from what I know, he's actually a decent dude. So, I know, surprise, right? But
From what
you
know.
think?
Yeah, for now, until he emerges
That's
as a
the
racist or
illusion I've
something.
managed to craft.
Oh no, you like different video games than me. How can I trust you?
I mean, I like.
I think we actually sync up a little bit more on our opinions of these games than everyone else here.
Yeah.
All right,
Anyway.
well, that's me done. See you later, everybody.
I might-
God
I
damn,
must
do we
go.
have to have an
My
eighth
people
meeting
need
now?
me.
Well, I think it's kind of important. I was actually talking with Geek Critique, and I'll be honest, Stuart, I didn't know this until he actually mentioned this, but a lot of the retweets and everything I saw, critiquing your article, we're talking you were somebody who didn't really understand the Sonic games at all. When I retweeted it, I got the sense no, I remember this. I remember feeling this way towards these games. I mean, we were talking about one paragraph everyone focused on. This sounds familiar to me. And then Geek Critique pointed out, this dude's been chatting about Sonic for a long time. I was and I realized, I'm doing a little bit of digging, oh, wow, yeah, he's been doing it longer than any of us. Did you want to talk a little bit, your personal history with the franchise a bit?
Well, yeah, I can do. I mean, I think the first game I ever played was it was either Alex Kidd in Miracle World or Sonic 1 8-bit on the Master System, and that was probably when I was 4 or 5, because I remember vividly running into the first moto bug and just dying and just bursting into tears because I didn't know what was happening. No, that wasn't when I was 4. It was 2 weeks ago. Sorry, no, that's bollocks. It's difficult because basically I just always liked the games because how could you not like those Mega Drive games? Really, they were sweet, and when they were, I mean, obviously when Sonic first came out, it was sort of brand new to me. It's something that sort of occurred to me about the fandom based on this whole thing that's happened was I hadn't actually accounted for the fact that, and this sounds so ignorant now, there are people who were obviously coming at it from a completely different angle to me, because there are people who were born when Sonic was already established as a thing forever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because for me, it kind of came from nothing and was basically just something I was into. And even through the kind of what I would personally class as the more patchy periods. I mean, I didn't really, I never sort of stopped liking the character because we had over here we had Sonic the Comic running. So even when the games weren't great, you still had this awesome comic to read. You had the cartoon shows running almost all the time on reruns. And I was always going back and playing the old Mega Drive games anyway because they're pretty much timeless.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
then when I found out about sort of Sonic fandom, that was probably when I was like, I don't know, 14, 15, because I wasn't really online before then. That was like dumb things like I say dumb things. I realized I've just categorized a major part of the fandom as dumb things, but things like role playing and like just general Sonic forums. Like I'm going to shout some out that I can think of. I guess really prototype sort of Sonic Stadium and Sonic the Comic Online was the main one. There was like the Moogle Cavern, that was a long time ago.
Oh yeah. Oh my god,
And
I
that
haven't heard
was
that name in a while.
I
yeah,
think the last time I heard that
exactly.
game was watching a Geek Critique episode.
But it was something that just always seemed like a kind of fun and kind of pleasant fandom. And you've got your people who are maybe more enthusiastic than others, and I use that very trying to be graceful when I say that. But I never really experienced any real sort of toxicity, and to be honest, I still haven't. Even in the wake of this whole thing, no one has actually sort of come after me, which which to me is like a showcase of what Sonic fans are like. Which is, one of the things that frustrated me about the reaction was seriously, I'm rambling. Interrupt me. But one of the things that frustrated me about the reaction is I've spent like years going on about how Sonic fans get a bad rap, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like the idea of pointing at someone and going, haha, you're really passionate about this thing that you like. It's like, what? Like, what are we talking? I mean, if we're talking about like Set and Fire stuff, then yeah, but we're talking about, video games here. And you've got this whole insanely creative kind of community that's just getting like, you're autistic, you're a pedophile, whatever. There's a lot of it about.
There's a lot of that.
Even in joking, like there's a content creator who was doing a 24-hour charity stream, and we're friends, but I hopped on to his stream. And we talked for about an hour because it was a whole thing where like he would have a guest on for an hour and then the guest would leave and then another guest would come on for an hour and then they would leave. When I hopped on for my hour at the end, I know he said it jokingly, but he ended up apologizing in DMs to me about it afterwards. He was like, "So I realized I just like apologized to my audience that you were a Sonic fan. I realized that could have been kind of rude." I'm like, it's fine. But just like there is that stigma with the Sonic community that like even though at the heart of it there's a lot of people who are just very passionate about the thing that they like, and with Sonic it's such a huge franchise in scope, especially regionally, because every region had its own iteration of Sonic and everybody has their own version of Sonic they claim as theirs, whether it be generational, whether it be geographical. There's so many versions of the characters to either love or hate. You get people who are very, very passionate, and it's really easy from the outside in to point a finger at that and go, haha, look, cringe. When, I mean, the reality is you just have a whole bunch of people enjoying or being passionate about a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, I don't know if this is still going, but like, I don't know how it started, but there was this kind of running gag about like pregnant Sonic I kept seeing.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
And it got me thinking like, it's like the only ever time I see art like this is when someone's taking the piss out of it. I'd never see it otherwise because you'd have to physically go looking for it, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I hear about people like Chris Chan and stuff like that, I just kind of get like, the only reason this is coming up is because you're digging it up. It's not something that I feel is exclusive to this kind of fandom,
Yeah, like if you bring up something like the whole there's another thing like tangential to the pregnant Sonic thing where it's like Shadow the Hedgehog and Shrek having children is like a really it's a weird thing that like if you know about it you can find it really easy, but if you don't know about it you don't associate that with Sonic at all. You're just like, wait, that's a thing?
I mean, also, if we're talking like perspectives and stuff, like in the brief time that I've done this YouTube stuff, I've dealt with multiple different fan bases and stuff. And the Sonic fan base is like, it's legitimately taken the lead as the best one that I've had to deal with, because Sonic fans haven't called the police on me like Doctor Who fans have. and Sonic
what?
fans
Wait, what?
haven't tried to get the K-pop community
It-
to cancel me like Spider-Man fans have. Like Sonic fans are pretty chill in the grand scheme of things.
Yes,
Like,
think
I
it was-
said
I
before,
think I was there for the Spider-Man thing.
Sonic fans are
Yeah,
very
you
chill
were there
compared
for
to the
that.
political commentary community. I mean,
what
what?
happened with? Oh God, I've seen you on Twitter lately. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I don't want to bring that up here, but that's
Okay.
but if we're talking about people who know how to throw vitriol, I mean,
What a cuck.
They don't know how
oy,
to
oy.
do it. They don't know how to do it. They just do it. They're not good at throwing vitriol. They're just loud.
You have to throw it and you have to throw it with finesse. There's like you have an angle to your arm. It's got to arc right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to
Yep.
put your back into it.
Oh, God.
So
Oh.
shall we kind of discuss like the article in itself and like the different perspectives on it, kind of like, because I'm noticing like there's kind of a common thread here is that people that grew up with the classic era in the chat even and including Nick don't seem to take any issue with or don't take as much issue with the article as say people that are more into the modern era, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I guess that makes sense because I mean every writer has an opinion, every writer has an agenda. But like, let's shall we take a look through the article and just kind of maybe discuss, what the different perspectives are?
Can do.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure, I'm okay with that.
So, okay. So, what was kind of your thought process when approaching the article, Stuart? Like, what
Well,
was kind of...
I thought I should probably make it clear now. Not that I'm covering my back or anything, but this is me. Like my opinions, not Nintendo Life's opinions, because this is I pitched this and I it's my words, so I'm owning it.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I don't.
No shit. No, not anything I say about like any editorial is not. I have no problem with any of it, basically. But basically, I just sort of pitched it because I was like, excuse me, I've managed to get a cough at the least convenient imaginable time.
Always happens.
I did an article about Donkey Kong called "The Many Faces of Donkey Kong" a couple of months ago, and I thought, hello, I could possibly spin this out into like a series because, more work, more money, basically. And I thought, what is something that has some kind of modern relevance that I know things about that I could write about? And Sonic came to mind because Sonic Colors Ultimate, Sonic 30th anniversary. That's pretty relevant. He's old as shit now, so there we go. So I guess basically, given this kind of remit of like roughly 1,000 words, I think I made it about 1,200 in the end. I'm like, how do I cram this whole series into this few words?
It feels like you're trying to do a
Because,
capstone project for school or something.
but like as a result of that, as will become apparent, some of the critique, such as it is, I mean, I'll acknowledge it could be more nuanced, but that doesn't mean that it was ever going to be in this form, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you got a lot of limitations on you by
Because
kind of the
yeah,
profession, right?
there were some statements that were made that by me that in my head I'm thinking, based on my perspective, everyone thinks this. This is not controversial. Everyone thinks this about Sonic Heroes because I remember being around when that game came out and everyone just going, this is horrible. What's happened? And now I realize that people had that when they were kids, and they loved it.
That's
And
the thing that's kind of happened. It's kind of like why
yeah,
I've kind of called a lot of like gaming journalist pieces kind of a little dated in the grand scheme
yeah,
of things. Is I remember when I first got into kind of the Sonic fandom, it was 2008, and I just bought Sonic Unleashed. Like my first foray with Sonic was the classics. When I was younger, I played those. But like as I kind of grew up, as I kind of became a teenager, I guess, I got Sonic Unleashed, and I was like, this is the best fucking game I've ever played. I can't wait to see what other people think. I got online, got into the Sonic community, and was like, oh, people don't like the 3D Sonic? What the hell's the problem here? I think the 3D Sonic's better, if you ask me. And I think the thing is, like, the people of the generation that grew up with games like Sonic Heroes have now grown up, gone online, and they're now, like, seeing gaming journalism pieces, and they're a bit frustrated because they're like, they don't feel like any piece of actual broader gaming journalism actually represents the Sonic fan base as it is today, or like the current players. And to be honest, I don't think people should seek validation from reviews, but I do get where they're coming from when it comes to the flippant dismissal of the 3D Sonic sometimes. Is the way I view it. The classic Sonic games are a perfectly enjoyable experience, but nothing special if you're not looking for the nuances. Now, I think they are something special personally. I think they're fantastic games because I appreciate the nuances that make it great. The carefully crafted momentum-based platforming, the level design that complements it, well, after Sonic 1 anyway. And I think what happens is the 3D games have a lot of those nuances to look out for as well. But a lot of the professionals don't really appreciate that in the grand scheme of things because when they played them, it's like, this is shit, throw it away. You know? I think the more you grow up with something, the more you appreciate the intricacies of it. And
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily going to go too far into depth about the intricacies of Sonic Heroes, because if you ask me, I don't care much for that game either. Cirrus is
Yeah,
the one that
pup.
had to convince me for that one.
I had to drag
like,
him
I
onto
have-
a stream. Was like, we're gonna long play it.
No, because I used to be like, this is shit. But then, to be fair, when I was discussing it with Cirrus, I did learn to appreciate those kind of nuances that people that grew up with that game appreciate and stuff. So I think the problem was, obviously, your article was within a word limit, within certain constraints. I think people basically just didn't take kindly to it's a skid mark, no matter how funny that is. Like, it doesn't kind of explain it or like identify any of the nuances that might have worked with people. And kind of a perspective I thought of.
I didn't have space. My sort of more nuanced Sonic Heroes opinion, which I didn't really want to put in there, because I didn't really have the space for it. And I wanted to dedicate that time to explaining why I actually like Sonic Adventure, despite saying it's falling to pieces. I mean, Sonic Heroes, I went back to it really after this article because I was like, what if I've been rude to Sonic Heroes and I like it now? Because I always try and check things out again if I don't like them, like especially in a series that I really like. And you know, it's the same as it ever was. I think I think Sonic Heroes is really fun for like two zones: Seaside Hill, the second version of Seaside Hill, Ocean Palace or something.
Yeah.
And then the two power plant stages I enjoy. I think they're just fun. Like I can't really, fault them. And then I get to like Casino Street or whatever it's called, and it makes you do pinball with the most piss awful physics I've ever seen in my life.
I entirely agree.
And this was actually the disagreement that me and Pup had as well, because I was like,
the bingo stage is horrible. I don't care what you say. Like, a lower route should not take that long to get through, even if
there's a bit towards the end of Bingo Highway where you're rolling down a track that's curving to the left, and it's got death pits in it. And the controls seem to completely escape me. It's like you press hard right as far as you can, and you still go left.
See,
I didn't have that issue, and it's weird. I even did this like live with Pup, and I was like, I don't understand what's going on.
I don't understand, Cirrus, because that's some of the shittiest control in any video game I've ever played with.
I would say, like, Sonic Heroes, like, the nuance that makes it good is the level design, the party atmosphere. It feels like a little party on your TV. There's lots of colors, the music's jumping and everything. The problem is, any good piece of level design that game has is ruined by Sonic's incredibly twitchy controls, which are even twitchier than the adventure games which came before it, which has me as a fan asking, how the fuck did that happen? How did that happen?
Oh yeah, it's like the ground is paved with Vaseline.
Yeah.
And that's like we're talking about is like seriously, you've been playing that game for a pretty long time, I'm sure. And the more you get used to the control scheme and everything, like the easier time you're going to have controlling it and everything, because you just know how it works.
I never got used to Heroes, though, because Heroes controls are just not very good. Like,
it's one of those games where, like, as a kid, I couldn't stand Sonic Heroes, because to me it was when I became a Sonic fan. As opposed to just like knowing about the franchise and playing it at other people's houses. A lot of that started with like Sonic Advance, Sonic Adventure 2, the Sonic Mega Collection, letting me play a lot of the old games. And Heroes felt at the time, it felt like a betrayal of the older games because the levels were just way too long. Like just obscenely long in several cases.
Well, they are that, yes.
And then it felt like a betrayal of what I had played from the Adventure series because the story that I got was like almost sub Saturday morning cartoon. Even when you get to the end with like the full Metal Sonic reveal, it doesn't get much better. So it felt like a betrayal of everything I cared about the series. As a kid with my very limited ability to analyze anything critically.
Well, I think not to get off on too much of a tangent, I think the one thing that Heroes didn't really get to do as much that the Sonic Adventure games were able to, I suppose, and even the 2D games back on the Genesis or Mega Drive, whichever you prefer, um, is that oddly enough, they took the time to slow down and let you feel a sense of scale for the places that you were in and how they all sort of like interconnected with each other. Whereas I feel like in Sonic Heroes, stuff felt a little more segmented and not like it really tied together all that much. And so I didn't really have so much of a sense of like what was at stake.
This
It
is
was
the
just kind of-
flying section. This is the speed section.
Well,
This-
what was
yeah,
at
I
stake?
didn't
I can't even remember
like-
what was at stake. They got a letter or something, and they were talking about they had a time limit. It
So
was
what-
like, Sonic, we
Eggman
only
sent
have
them-
12 hours left.
Eggman sent them a letter to go have some cake.
Oh,
I mean,
that
yeah,
was it.
basically. I mean, so like what's funny though is like it's one of those things where in retrospect, the letter being sent out makes sense by the time you realize that it's Metal Sonic doing it, it makes a little more sense because you go, oh, this is why there's like a layer of incompetence here. It's because it looks like a layer of incompetence because we're seeing what Eggman does not do, but it's not Eggman. It's somebody trying to be Eggman. And we did see a little bit of that again, like way later in the comics, but
I thought I was doing the game apologizing. Jesus Christ, sir.
but it makes a little more sense for that particular thing. But at the end of the day, it does feel like a low stakes adventure, even though yeah, the game explains why things don't feel quite right. It's because literally the villain is not the villain that you're dealing with. It doesn't make the story better. There's like one aspect of Hero's story that I like, and that's the stuff that's explaining Shadow a little bit more and the introduction of Omega. Everything else, I really could just leave behind, despite the game explaining it a little bit.
Yeah. And even at the end of the day, like I liked the whole kind of perspective thing we were talking about, where it's like people that grew up with to kind of get back onto that point, people who like grew up with certain games just kind of feeling differently about them because they've come at this from a different angle. I work at a used game store. I probably mentioned once or twice on the channel, and we had this kid come in. This mom came in with her two kids, and the one little boy could not have been more than like 6 or 7. And he was so goddamn excited about picking up some Sonic games. And you know which one he specifically asked for? Sonic
What?
06.
I can
boy.
understand why that. No, I can understand why that would excite a kid though. Like,
And
well, as a
now
kid,
he's
that was
I
my
don't
thing.
think
My
so.
initial reaction was just kind of like, "Are you sure?" And then when I saw him, his little face when he had that game in his hands, and he gave me the biggest hug because I helped him get that game. I was just like, you know what? That kid's gonna enjoy that. He's gonna find things to love about it, and I could not be happier for him.
Well,
Like,
I
let him
mean,
have this.
On the front cover, there is a pretty cool picture of Sonic. That's
Well, that's the
I
thing.
mean,
he called it by
here's-
name. He knew what he was there
here's-
for.
Here's the thing I'll kind of say though, is I think like when you're younger, you're willing to look past a lot of shit when it comes to video games and look at more the positives. Because I'm going to say this: Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is a historic game. It's a great, well-designed game for the most part. But is it a fun game? The majority of it isn't. And like, I think a lot of the kids that grew up with Sonic 1, like myself, will recognize it for how revolutionary it was. Will recognize it for how good like the visuals and music were for the time, the really well-defined momentum-based gameplay and stuff. But when you actually go back and play it, it's not necessarily a whole lot of fun. And I think that Sonic 1 hasn't escaped the same stigma that games like Sonic Heroes and Sonic 06 have, simply based on the virtue that it was the first one and it is a piece of gaming history. But I would say, while the issues are very different and definitely less than a game like Sonic 06, there's a lot of issues that gamers are willing to look past when it comes to the first Sonic. Issues that really do hinder the fun.
I'm the angriest I've ever been in my entire life.
I knew that would be kind of a hot take. But like the thing with like Sonic 06 is if you look past the fucking okay, I'm not going to do 06, I'm going to do Heroes. The issue with Heroes is if you look
You
past
just had to dodge that landmine, huh?
the shitty controls and the shitty controls, you've
And
got
Team
some really
Chaotix.
you've got some well-designed platforming levels. You've got some thrilling gameplay. With
Oh,
Sonic
yeah.
1, if you look past the fact that the level design doesn't complement the main gameplay at all, you've got a pretty revolutionary game. But like when you look at Sonic 1, like there's only one good level in the entire game, and it's Green Hill Zone.
Oh man, you're bouncing. Oh boy.
This is how people
dear.
feel, Stuart. This is how people feel.
All right.
I know. Yeah, I'm getting
Okay.
a taste of my own medicine right here.
Nick's about to go off. Let's.
All right. So
If it
here's
helps,
the thing.
I think Sonic 2 is quite bad.
Really?
What?
What's wrong with this?
Oh, interesting.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't think it's bad. I think it's the worst one of the Mega Drive ones, and not even
Really?
close.
Interesting.
What
Yeah.
would you?
I
what
just
would you
don't
say
agree
makes
with
it-
anyone about anything.
Man,
I guess
Nick-
I don't know
Nick-
what's
Nick-
going
No,
on.
no,
Nick
hold
was
on.
about
This
to-
is a hot.
Happy to
take,
justify
though.
it.
Like,
Happy to
what makes
justify
it?
that.
What makes it worse than 1 then? In that case,
Okay. Well, this is gonna be less charitable than I actually feel because I don't really want to get super in depth, but
sure.
I don't like the fact that it opens with the Green Hill Zone again, basically, but not as good.
More like
I don't like
Sandhill.
I don't like the game from about what's the stage after after Casino Night again? I forget. Hilltop.
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 Yeah, Hilltop is just a recolored Emerald Hill Zone with lava, and I don't like it. And then I don't like any of it up until you get to Wing Fortress, pretty much. And
What
by
is
I
alternate
don't
universe?
like
What
it,
in
I
the
mean
fuck
I
is
Oh,
don't-
that's
happening
interesting
here?
because I hate Wing Fortress.
What the fuck?
Wing Fortress is cool. It's like got different sort of stakes, and it's like you're you're like breaking into and taking down this big flying
It's a
ship
good
thing.
piece of storytelling as
Yeah.
far as the game's
But I mean,
concerned,
don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I'm not here sort of folding my arms, going like, "Oh, your Mystic Cave Zone sucks," because that's just bullshit. You know, I personally think it's a weak midsection compared to like 1 or 3 or 3/K. But and I hate Sky Chase. It's the most boring thing in the world.
I think we can agree on that.
I cannot
Well,
enjoy
I
that.
Fair,
love
it is
Sky
it
Chase
is in
quick,
Sonic
though,
Adventure
like-
1.
To be fair, it is quick.
However, great music, great graphics. It's obviously still like a 10 out of 10 game. Don't get me wrong. It's just not my favorite. That's all.
You're a fascinating creature, Stuart. My goodness.
Thank
My
you.
goodness.
No, it is kind of interesting because I don't think I've heard that perspective before.
I never had I mean, every now and then you'll get someone that likes Sonic 1 over Sonic 2, but that's an uncommon
Sonic 1
preference.
to me is like, I don't consider it just a nostalgia thing because I played all these games as a kid.
Mhm.
I have a
Sonic
question.
1
though.
to me feels like, God, it doesn't feel old like at all. It still looks really good, I think.
But when was the last
Um,
time you played it, though? Like,
Probably on the Switch when the Ages version came out.
fair enough. I mean, like, 'cause
I calculated this. I think if I close my eyes and reach out, I can actually reach about 3 different ways to play Sonic 1 at any given time, via
The best
various
one is
devices.
I'd say
Yeah,
mobile,
pretty much.
but,
That's pretty much
like,
it.
just-
But I don't know. There's something about Sonic 1. The fact that you don't have the spin dash, meaning you have to actually really
You have to earn that,
learn.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the same way I feel about Sonic CD in a way, which is I think Cyrus doesn't like Sonic CD, but I'm a really big fan of that game because it is entirely about like exploiting momentum, like none of the other games are. But the difference with CD is you can't just really bomb through it and have a good time. If you're just bombing through it, it's really stupid. But if you're trying to get the good future, it's fun. I don't know. That's sort of how I feel about Sonic 1 in a way.
No, I get you. I've come to that defense. I get that.
Yeah, it's fun. Sonic 1 feels like really grounded, I think. And then Sonic 2 to me feels like, I don't know, it almost feels a bit like rushed. It's almost like a greatest hits of itself. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's
It
sort
kinda
of the
does.
same kind of archetypes as the first game, but not as memorable to me. But still 10 out of 10. Don't get me wrong.
Can I just be 1 out of 2 people that calls you a shithead? All right.
Okay,
only one more person is allowed to
you've
do
used
it.
one of them. You've used one
yeah,
of them now.
I've used one of the 2 shithead passes.
Wait,
Yeah.
did I hold on, now I have to think. Did I at any point in my video call you anything disparaging? Did I focus on the article?
No, I
forget
watched
now.
I watched your video. Now I got to apologize to you personally because when I found out about your video, I did a Twitter thread that was basically like, "Oh my god, there's a 46-minute video about my article."
I think I saw that.
Ha, ha,
Oh my
ha, ha, ha.
god.
And I was making fun of some of the stuff that you said in it, but then I watched the whole thing and I was like, no, actually that was fair. That was quite reasonable. You didn't come after me, and you actually read the whole thing and came to the same sort of conclusion that I did. in the
Mm.
end, ultimately.
it's
So I
kind of-
apologize for being slightly mocking.
I hadn't even seen the Twitter thread and realized it was about me.
Oh God! Well, don't go and look at it now.
Well, now I have to. Now I've got to.
Mm.
But I have the context now. What's funny is
Challenge
there's another content creator I've done a video about. I'm not going to say names. This is the play for it, but there's a video that was done about a topic that I know a little bit about, and they came out like very, very on the other side of the opinion that I had on it. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just talk about this. And it was the exact same thing. Like, oh my God, this person made a 44-minute video about me. I'm like, well, first of all, you've got like 2 million subs. So if somebody makes a 44-minute video about you, you're fine. You'll be all right.
Mm.
2, I do things in live stream format. Of course it's long.
But it's not so much. It's not so much that the format. It's just the fact that it's never happened to me before, and I was kind of like, "Am I? Is this me making it? Am I making it right now?"
Oh my God.
Stuart, I gotta admit, man, like I was gonna go off, and I thought I was gonna be like the older fans kind of explain their opinion versus the younger fans, or this and that and the other.
Mm.
It was like, yeah, Sonic Heroes has problems, and then it turned into, yeah, fuck Sonic 2. I'm like, hold on. What just happened? It completely threw me off.
Basically,
Like, this is amazing.
what it boils down
Sonic.
to is all Sonic games have problems. Even the ones that are considered to be universally loved, all of them have issues, and all of them have highlights. And that's kind
Sonic 3 and Knuckles has a problem, which is that it ends.
Yep.
of Sonic 3 and
Oh,
Knuckles.
yeah, and
has a
Sonic
problem that
is-
is,
And Sand Up is like one.
I mean, I would still say that Sonic 3 and Knuckles, there is one problem in it. Is
I'm
that
gonna-
the second half is not as good as the first half.
Well, no, that's just
That-
flat out
and Knuckles
wrong.
part?
But
Mushroom
that's
Hill
objectively
constantly-
wrong.
doesn't have
Mushroom
one
Hill
of those.
Hill's
constantly
fucking
stops.
amazing.
Mushroom Hill constantly stops your momentum so you can do these little hang glidey thingies.
I've
Then you've
literally got a career because I talked as highly as I did about Mushroom Hill specifically. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
well,
I disagree.
yeah, yeah,
The bit where you
It's
get grabbed
good
by
from the perspective of there's that
fungus.
little underground area with the emeralds, but that's not all Mushroom Hill, man. I'm talking
Daddy
about
and the
entire
dog are
level.
fighting. I don't understand.
Can we call Papa shithead?
You can call
I
me.
think we do every week.
There's
You-
no
you-
limit how many
you,
times
you
we
can
do that.
actually you can call me the C word because this isn't monetized because YouTube is taking forever with the AdSense.
I'm not gonna use that word.
You
go on.
clown.
Yeah,
Okay,
there you go.
So,
there you go.
a little more seriously, and I know this is just like old perspective, and it could be my own nostalgia here.
Hmm.
I guess why I just kind of every now and then, like, I get frustrated with, oh, let's put them all under the same branch because everything's got flaws. Let's all get together. Well, it's fine. Everything's fine. I guess my problem is like just coming from the perspective of like what else the game industry was doing at the time. And judging it on those merits, because it is still pretty amazing to me how well the old games hold up as decently as they do. Because like when we get to Heroes, that's a lot of people's first games because that's the very first Sonic title that went full on multi-platform. But compared to everything else that was happening at the time, I was not happy with it as a gaming fan or as a Sonic fan, because even if I grew up with Sonic 1, I loved Adventure.
Mm.
I didn't like Adventure 2 as much, but I certainly came around to it, especially
got-
the
I've got to address that at some point. Sorry, go on.
you're fine.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I was gonna fucking use that as a bouncing pad as well. One thing I will say though, Nick, to be fair, is there was probably a lot of kids that were happy as Larry with those games. When they
That's
first came out.
fine, but I'm getting to that point though.
Yeah.
I at this age I can tell you that some of the Jurassic Park games that I adored to death were kind of garbage, and the Ninja Turtles one, which I've wasted so much of my little life in that game, it's kind of shit. And like I was explaining with like the angry video game nerd, I guess what was kind of satisfying about that one little paragraph that stirred up so much controversy among a lot of Sonic Twitter is I gotta admit, like talking with everybody as much as I did, and the whole point of my channel has definitely helped me provide a different perspective. And with hindsight, it is a lot of fun to go back to this stuff now and really kind of appreciate what these games are doing on their own terms, but
Yeah.
in a more bitter sense, just as this Sonic fan who has felt betrayed, like a lot of people do nowadays with Sonic Forces. It was just kind of satisfying seeing somebody just saying, no, actually, fuck this. Like we could do better. They should have been better. Fuck these games. And I was like, yes, thank you, thank you. Oh god.
The thing is, it's like I said at the beginning. I was considering it from only my perspective, which
Yeah.
is what I have to do, you know. But at the same time, it never even crossed my mind, like, because I've been immersed in it for so long.
Yeah, and
when I said that Sonic Riders is wretched, like that's the exact word that I used, and to me, that was nothing more than the most factually accurate, inarguable possible statement any human being could even remotely conceivably make. And everyone on the internet got mad because I said that. And I'm like, but it's Sonic Riders. Like, what's happening to my brain?
I still haven't forgiven that game. I lost the rubber cap on my analog stick because of that stupid fucking game, and that sore in the palm of my hand did not go away for weeks.
I think what's interesting about like Heroes and Riders specifically is like it demands so much. Like the learning curve is so high. Like you kind of have to get good at the game to actually appreciate it. And I imagine that's why there's like so much like I see nothing but nice things said about Sonic Riders nowadays.
Yeah.
And it is
because people have had
like,
their time with the game now. Like,
sure, yeah.
Learning
And,
curve, they've had their learning curve.
And having these younger fans, like it's so it's taken me a while, but like the first time I saw anybody talking decently about Sonic 06 is like, you're getting a spanking, young man. Are you out of your mind? This is not okay to do.
Sorry, Paul, go on.
Yeah, no, sorry. I had a question for you, regarding kind of the overall scope of like what a gaming journalist's job is. And I was asking, is there ever any kind of mandate to try and represent like the most broad or objective viewpoint possible, or are you basically just free to write your own thoughts out and just be as subjective as you like?
It depends on the outlet, I suppose, but I've never had any major sort of influence. The only sort of I think there's sometimes stuff can be edited if it feels like the text doesn't match a score, for example, but that's just like maybe a score will change by 1 point, which is like who cares, you know?
Yeah, because
that's this. I mean, specifically this Sonic thing. It was basically, if I'd written it for Retronauts, where I basically can do whatever I want, you know, within reason. Don't tell Parish I said that. I like, I wrote an article on Retronauts about me marrying a copy of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But like for Nintendo Life, I wouldn't do that because it is kind of a broader audience. So
the worst part about that marriage is that it would eventually end.
It's true.
So the thing I've kind of been thinking about is like, because a lot of Sonic fans have kind of questioned the relevancy of greater professional gaming journalism when basically everyone can jump on YouTube and give their own perspective. And I've kind of thought, like, I think a good place for gaming journalism to be in general would be to try to kind of be objective while also factoring in one's own perspectives. And I didn't know if maybe gaming journalism kind of mandates that, or if it's like, because that's the thing is a lot of times people will have a go at like the individual journalists themselves without questioning the state of the overall industry as a whole. So because kind of my thought, and this was kind of the bit that typified it, this was the bit where I got Sonic fan triggered, if you will, was the bit where it said like Sonic Adventure 2 is boring, basically. And it kind of didn't go further than that. And I was kind of thinking,
I wanted to address this because Suresh mentioned this, and I wanted to actually directly respond to that because
go on, absolutely.
That was a good point. You said because you brought up that I said it was homogenous, and then didn't explain how it was homogenous.
And I was like, wait, how is this one homogenous? No, I was like, compared to everything at the
you
time,
said made sense. Everything you said made sense, total sense. But I want to explain what I meant.
Yeah. Is this going to be like
what I meant?
Is this going to be like when Pup explains contemporary?
I freely admit that I could have used a better word there. I think basically while there is variety in the gameplay in Sonic Adventure 2, I don't think the individual stages of each type of gameplay feel particularly distinctive. Like all of the Tails and Eggman levels to me feel the same. I don't enjoy them. And the Sonic stages, as cool as the spectacle is, I don't think they stand out individually in the same way that the action stages do in Sonic Adventure, because I think of Sonic Adventure 1, I'm like, I can think of like I could probably list all the action stages right now. Sonic Adventure 2, I would be like, City Escape, then there's that really short one, Metal Harbor.
And
I
then,
forget what the next one is. That's
and
it.
then,
It's
and then
gone.
there's Green Forest, and then after Green Forest, it's
Everything
Sonic.
on board the Space Colony arc.
There's
The grind rail
There's
level on the
Crazy
Colony arc as
Gadget,
well.
there's Final
Yeah.
Rush.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Why
Final
do
Rush,
so many
man.
of those stages have to be annoying?
Yeah,
One thing
I'm
I'll
sorry.
say though,
I like the
But
action
basically,
stages
that's
a
what I
lot
meant
better.
by homogenous, and I could have probably used a better word. I should have just said it was shit and upset more people, I think.
but I do
God.
think there's because you did use homogeneous. That is that is the word that you came to. This is not me like going, all right, it's time for me to give you the right perspective. No, but there is a thing that I know when I play the game, especially as somebody who knows just most Sonic fans at this point know a little bit about the production of Sonic Adventure 2. And what I find is that even in the stages that I don't like, the stages I like the least in that game, for the most part, as far as like how they're designed, are the shooting stages. But even then, every one of those shooting stages has like something that reminds me of it. Like when I play through the Dark Story, I actually look forward to Cosmic Wall. Like the design of Cosmic Wall, that's like, this is how all of the stages in this game should have been designed. We should have had this degree of freedom. We should have had this amount of things in the environment to interact with. There should have been this like open-ended atmosphere, and that's what Cosmic Wall gives. But then when I think of the other levels, I go, okay, well, in Weapons Bed, that's the level to me that, okay, I can rack up billions of points and I can just blow shit up, and this is the level I get to do that in.
So like basically though, like before we get into basically a breakdown of every single level in the game,
yeah,
when I kind of looked at it, I kind of thought like, okay, so here's the thing. Sonic Adventure 2 is the best game ever made, but if I were trying to have a fairly midway opinion on it, or trying to kind of go at this in a way that kind of represents kind of everyone, I guess I would probably say that Sonic Adventure 2 alienated some Sonic fans by constantly interrupting the speed-based gameplay with mech shooting and treasure hunting that many found monotonous. And that was kind of how I thought I would kind of put it. And I kind of thought, is this what the article's kind of trying to say in that is saying it's kind of boring? Like,
Monotonous is a better word than homogenous. That's probably what I meant.
Hey, here's
Fair
a
enough.
great idea.
There we
Let's
go.
take the worst
right, well,
tempo from
Stuart,
Ocarina of Time and let's make it an entire ass Knuckles stage. How about that?
I'm coming for your fucking job.
You know, the thing that I didn't mention that Sonic Adventure 2 introduced that I dislike the most about the Sonic series, now that I think about it, I think it's the first one where after each stage it says, "You sucked. You did a really bad job."
you know what's funny?
Oh,
Like,
the
ranking
ranking system.
When I
like,
was
the
a-
I
ranking
hate that so much.
When
I've
I was-
been back and forth on that. Like I don't like it a lot of the time after playing Sonic Colors. I appreciate it just in the sense of like if you're going to be doing a lot of speed-based kind of stuff, I think it kind of makes sense. Like you're kind of melding in more arcade racing stuff.
It's
but-
got more replay incentive as well.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree, but it doesn't really work super well with mech stages or the
I just-
exploration stages, in my
I
opinion.
would just have not had it in the story mode and just keep it for trial mode or mission mode or whatever it's called.
That's
And
not a
then
bad idea either.
that's
Well,
actually
right.
valid, yeah.
I
It
mean,
just made me think when I was playing something like Bayonetta, and after every fight, the game puts a piece like, "You're a piece of dog shit.
yeah, that
You're
stresses me out,
garbage.
man. It stresses
You
me out.
suck
so
at this game, and you should stop playing it."
I'm gonna be honest. I think I might agree with that take, and the reason is when I was a kid, there was a friend of mine. We both loved Adventure 2, but I remember when Unleashed came out. One of my favorite things about Unleashed was that the ranks for the daytime stages were decently hard to get S's for, especially compared to stuff later like Generations and Forces. So
Yeah, Generation, you can sneeze on the controller and get an S rank. So yeah.
So I remember him saying like, I hate that so much that that it has rankings, and I'm like, why? That's literally just free replayability. It takes 5 seconds for the programmer to do, and it gives your game that extra added layer of replayability. And he's like, yeah, but it makes me feel bad. And as a kid, my first thought was, I don't give a shit if you feel bad. Why do I care about that? But as an adult, looking
Get
at
good.
it looking at it from a not get good scrub Dark Souls is every game in the world, let's go play Monster Hunter together perspective, I guess not having the ranking in the story mode itself, specifically for one reason. And that reason is that the level design is made two ways in Adventure 2. There's the way you play through the level the first time, and then the way you play through the level once you've had power-ups.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they're all designed that way. Where like you play through City Escape in a completely different route once you have the bounce bracelet and the lightspeed dash compared to the first time through.
I have to ask, just I know this is completely off topic, but I swear I heard Pup say not get good, but get goose. Did I hear that?
Yeah,
right?
no, you heard that wrong.
Get goose. Get goose, scrub.
So let's move along to another.
Oh, we're not letting that go.
No, hang on, hang
That's
on.
never an option.
If we're
No,
moving
hang
along,
on,
can I
let-
quickly mention something? Because it's going to annoy me if I don't mention it now that I've got the
Go on,
space
go
to
on.
do so.
Yeah.
This is something that frustrates me about ranking is, to me, it represents like the opposite of what the old Sonic games were like, which is really freewheeling. And if you get hit, who gives a shit? Just grab a ring, it's fine. Just get to the end, get the Chaos Emeralds, whatever.
I don't know.
And in Sonic Adventure, in Sonic Adventure 2, it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, you got to the end of the level, but you did a really shit job. You suck. Go like jump off a bridge.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good way
forget-
of describing it, though. Like that's kind of how I felt first time I played it was, and I guess my most modern comparison I can give is like some of the Assassin's Creed games where it's like this big wide open world. You have all these ways to take out your target, but you're going to get the best points if you do it this specific way that the game wants you to do.
Yeah,
Which
the game
kind of
tells you.
is a lot of the time I kind of hear a lot of classic fans describing the classics as you can play them how you want, you can do what you want, you're free. But I always remember Sonic as the game series where you beat the game and then get told to try again by Dr. Eggman smirking at you. I've always
Yeah.
kind of seen them as this very sadistic, hey, fuck you, pal, you're going back to Labyrinth Zone kind of game,
And-
you know?
and I
that,
guess-
that is exactly what the first one is. Like,
I
it's
guess
a
to-
sadistic
I'd
fucking game.
argue that getting all the emeralds is easier than getting any A rank in any one level of any Sonic 3D game.
That
I-
could be
suck.
just from playing through
Okay,
them.
that's that's over the top. Let's keep it with Adventure 2 at this point. That's really over the
I
top.
would say getting all the
Yeah.
S ranks is going to be more. Well, I guess it's A ranks in.
It's just more
Yeah.
it's just
But-
more to do for Adventure 2 as far because like there's 180 emblems in that game and a good chunk of them are tied to the A ranks.
I'd say
as far
though,
as I'm
like
concerned,
the
like,
Well, you need to do it because you need to get that shitty prototype Green Hill, man. Like,
Yeah, because
Oh,
you gotta
fuck
get
you.
goose.
whatever,
not
dude. That
worth
was
it.
so cool back then. I
it
don't
was
even care.
awesome.
Not
It was
worth
the
it,
coolest
man.
thing I've ever seen.
It was so cool.
I mean, like I would say, if I get like a D rank, I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna let it get to me. I'm just gonna creep.
My thing is just that like because I like I tolerate Sonic Adventure 2. I don't like it nearly as much as SA1.
Fuck
But
you.
Oh, that's like one more game.
but my it's like City Escape is a phenomenal like opening stage, and you want that to stick with the player. But then like it kind of sucks when you have this really exhilarating like adrenaline pumping thing, and then you just have Sonic going, "Huh, barely made it," and I'm just like, "Well, fuck you, Sonic! Like I'm trying to have fun here."
I don't
I
like
agree.
dude,
I
almost
don't
every
care,
grades.
like,
I don't
Going
like
through
that. I
City
get that
Escape
shit at
over and
school.
over again.
It's
Over and over again, going
okay.
through City Escape, getting B ranks and metaphorically screaming at the TV.
I just
What
don't-
do you want?
I just
What
don't
do you
get-
want?
The game
I
wants
do
two
not mind.
things: get rings, blow up the gold fucking beetle in the
Beetle, yeah.
level, and get to the gold. You don't have to get the gold beetle, but it helps a lot. It gives you a feather fall.
Here's the
Um,
thing: is I don't need Sonic's approval. His ass is mine regardless.
That's cool and all, but like when I was playing it like while I'm in school and I have to worry about grades in school, and then I go home, my video game is still fucking grading me. It doesn't feel super neat, especially after the last,
reality, kid.
especially after the last game. It gave you a participation trophy after every single level you played. It was always satisfying seeing that little ping of the emblem afterwards. Now,
It was cute.
I
Yeah.
understand and I appreciate the pros and cons of both of those systems, especially, after going through them again. But like initially, when I first played that game, I didn't feel good about that, especially when I was like, but I know Sonic. I understand Sonic. And Sonic's telling me, no, you don't. You never knew me at all. It wasn't a great feeling.
That's
like-
a good
it's like
thing,
a
though.
breakup.
It keeps it new. It keeps it fresh, you know?
I'm gonna be honest, like as a kid, when it was this way with Sonic Adventure 2, and it was this way with the daytime stages of Unleashed with me. For both of them, that grading system was one of the two reasons. I'm sorry, the Chow Garden's there as well. Y'all know that I have a problem, but
No. I'm in your party with that one. Chow Garden's great.
Chow Garden's wonderful. Chip had my Chow plush that's normally in my office, and I was very
I'm
upset.
fine with it just because it's not required for gameplay.
Right, and
Yeah,
neither is the ranking, but
I have played through that game 3 times. I don't think I've been in the Chow Garden since 1999.
but
I still have my VMU with a Chow on it. I change the battery periodically.
you gotta keep
You
that
sweet
little
boy.
fucker alive.
I still have my Chow fleshlight.
Oh boy.
What the fuck?
All right. And we just got demonetized and canceled. Good to know.
We're not monetized anyway. We're not.
Oh yeah,
relax.
because of the thing. And
The AdSense, yeah.
for me as a kid, those A ranks, I have very specific memories of like friends would come over to my house and we would play Yu-Gi-Oh a little bit, and then like when we would start doing our own thing where they would like bop out their Game Boy, I would pop up Adventure 2, go into Final Rush, and go, okay, today's the day I'm getting my A rank. And I would try to get through that level without making any mistakes, so I could get the rank that I wanted, get there as fast as I could, try to find like every little which way I could to like jump from one end of the level and avoid all the rails to get, basically skip as much as I could before hitting a death barrier. And like, all of that was basically driven by that game having the A rank there. Those are such really great memories for me, and maybe that's the reason that I don't mind stuff like League of Legends and Monster Hunter as an adult. Because I'm like, no, break my back, make me want to play your game.
This is the thing that fascinates me. Like, what was your first Sonic game?
My first Sonic game was Sonic 2. It's not It's not the first Sonic game that I owned, but it is the first Sonic game. I played Sonic 2, then Sonic 1, and then Sonic Advance, and then Adventure 2.
For me, as I said with the ranking, to me, like Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, like there's this whole kind of I mentioned it earlier, but the whole kind of point and laugh, like shitty autism thing, And I was saying on Twitter relatively recently, like right before this article went up, actually, I was saying like, the reason why there are so many autistic people in this fandom is because anyone can play these games. That's what makes them so special. Like, you can get hit, you can grab a ring, you can keep going. Most games are just going to tell you to fuck off, but not Sonic. No, you can do what you want, as you say. And that plus big characterization, quite simple characterization, big, easy to read characterization. That's going to appeal to autistic people. I'm not doing a bit. This is actually true. I've worked with autistic people. They fucking love Sonic.
Well, it's also another thing is that people just anybody who's neurodivergent, not just people who are autistic, have a tendency to hyperfixate. And Sonic being the massively scoped franchise that it is so easy to hyperfixate on it because you're never done. There's never a point where you've consumed every ounce of everything.
Well, it's funny, when you first said, there's that tendency to point, laugh, say, shitty, autistic and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought at first, the first thing that sprung to mind was getting a D rank, and then Sonic looks at the player and says, stupid, shitty, autistic.
Maybe we're going a little too far with that one.
Yeah, let's maybe pull
They cut that out of the beta. They cut that out of beta.
Yeah.
That's the thing that for me the ranking system, and it is optional. I totally recognize that because people love the shit out of it. As you say, that's why people go back and play these over and over again, and that's great. For me, it feels like a wall between genuinely, like, earnestly enjoying it for what it is and what it actually is, I guess. I just think when you finish a level in a video game, the game should probably say, "Hey, nice going. You did a good job," instead of, "Yeah, that was okay. You could have been better." I just don't dig it personally, but it's part of the series now. It's just there and it's not going away. So, not really worth being mad about,
It's also just worth noting, like, just with any franchise anyway. Like, I think the whole calling out of like autism thing is completely unnecessary anyway. Like even in regard to Sonic or in any franchise, because like pretty much like everyone's somewhere on the spectrum, basically. Like I mean, like
That's not how that works, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
we're gonna drop
maybe
it.
not
We're
go
not.
down
We're
that
not
route.
in
We're
any.
dropping it.
We are
Hang
not
on.
equipped
So-
for that conversation.
Exactly. We are not. If we want to have that conversation, we will get the appropriate people on here and we will discuss
Yeah.
it in that
Sure.
context when necessary.
Yeah,
That's not what we're here
all I
for.
wanted to bring up was basically just that being accessible is not something that needs laughing at. It's a
Yeah.
good thing. That's it.
We are. Yeah, nobody's in
Yeah, and
disagreement with that whatsoever.
We
Right.
agree with that one. That's actually the video that I made on the other creator, who I will not talk about. The disagreement we had was about accessibility in games.
Yeah.
Where their position was that, oh no, you just want everything to accommodate you, and I'm like, no, people just want to be able to enjoy their fucking entertainment, and there's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So fuck the rank system, right, guys?
Well,
No,
I still
I
like the rank
genuinely.
system.
Well, no, I
Forget the
genuinely
ranking
like.
system. Let's introduce a wanking system. Am I right?
Yeah, we already had that. It's called Mobius
Now we're
Unleashed.
talking.
No,
That's the
How
Sally
flashlight,
Acorn
yeah.
section for Nick.
Yes, but it's
Sally
I
made
know
him a
I
man.
Oh God, Sally Acorn. I can't. Jesus. I remember when I first saw that character. I had an Archie comic that someone gave me, and we didn't have Archie comic over here in the UK.
yeah.
We had STC, which had absolutely no nude women in it. And the issue, the first Archie Sonic issue that I read was the special where Sally takes all her clothes off and walks into a pool.
Yeah,
And-
you got the really horny
Yeah,
era of
and
Archie.
she's just a nude woman with a squirrel's head.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
this is me holding my hands up saying I am not attacking anyone who's into that at all. But
Joke's on you. I'm
it
into
was
that.
I
It was a
swear to God.
huge, jarring, like, this is really different from what I'm used to. I think I just wanted to mention that. That's all.
No, look, man,
Like-
I can tell you, as somebody who's grown up as a fan of Sonic over here in America and who read a lot of Archie, like I did not like a lot of Archie. I love Sally. I think she's a great character if
Sally's
used
cool. I like Sally,
properly.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to disagree with you, and I'm not looking forward to getting that shit in my video series. It's really bad. It's really fucking bad storytelling.
It doesn't bother me necessarily. I just thought it was interesting, like how different it was, and how that was like such a part of. Why did we even get onto this? I blame myself. Never mind.
No, it's fine. It's all good. It's all
Yes.
good, man. We wanted. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I mean, we had specific topics, but it usually gets into some more, loosey goosey stuff. And I don't know. I don't know about you guys.
What's this about geese?
I have
Why do we
fun
keep
with
talking about geese?
Nick mishearing me saying good as goose earlier.
I raised a goose, and it's a very sweet goose. It still lives with my mom. It's her pet.
Cool.
She loves it.
A useful source of foie gras.
There we go. Oh my God. Oh no.
So I like Sonic. But something I was going to say is, Stuart, being
Yes.
a gaming journalist and all,
Yeah.
don't talk shit about Sonic Unleashed.
Okay.
No, but
That's interesting you mentioned that, because when I
Yeah.
said in the people on Twitter kept saying that I had compared it to 06 or something, which I
Right.
absolutely didn't.
I don't
I
remember that.
pointedly
didn't see
did
that.
not. Everyone, I said that Riders is shit because I do genuinely think that, and I apologize. And I said Sonic Heroes is bad, and I said the storybook games are bad because I don't like those either. But I said Sonic Unleashed is interesting because I genuinely do think it's interesting, and I would easily consider it the best of that lot. I don't love it to death, but there's a lot going on in that game that you got to appreciate. Like,
I kind of
for one-
consider it part of the colors lot, personally.
I think
It's
I
a
like it slightly more than
well-crafted-
colors, having revisited colors. But yeah,
I prefer Unleashed, but
It
like,
feels different than Colors to me. Like, I know that it's still a boost game, but by that
Yeah.
logic, so is Rush.
Well,
Well-
no, though. I mean, that's when we got the switch over in terms of head of Sonic team and everything like that. That laid the groundwork for the console games going forward. It's like Sonic Adventure, and I know me and Geek Critique, we've talked about this 1,000 times before. It's a transitionary game.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know. Even then, though, like, God, I'm spoiling my colors video here, but like, even like back in the early 3D games, like the adventure games, like you still see a lot of that DNA going through even up to today. They just stripped out a lot of it. I think people just focus so much up on the dog, and Sega overcorrected in a lot of ways after that. So
Dog.
the werehog.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said the dog, and I was like,
I
what
did.
the hell? What dog? Oh, I
That,
see. He's a
yeah, it was
werehog. Okay,
it was a joke that went down like the Hindenburg.
I apologize.
No, that's not good
If
because it's in my script too.
If I made that embarrassing for you, I apologize. I didn't really mind. I didn't really mind the werehog. I just put loads of points into like attack, and then it was fine.
I think
mean,
the real
yeah.
the thing with the werehog, I mean, I think with Sonic Unleashed at the time it came out, the reason why it's amassed more approval now is like back when it came out, I think people were just upset because they were wanting like the proper classic Sonic gameplay, or like, you know, Sonic to just be Sonic basically. And it was kind of like by the time the werehog rolls around, it was like, we're never going to get that again, are we? We're never just going to get a no frills Sonic game. And since then, we've had that with like colors and stuff. And like, there's no longer that sense of, oh, are we never just gonna get a Sonic for Sonic game without, you know, added bells
Yeah.
and whistles? Now that we're no longer feeling that, we're able to reapproach Sonic Unleashed and say, well, the werehog was fine as far as it goes and stuff. And I think it's, you know, the landscape of where Sonic fans and where the gaming industry and everything was at back then. It's changed now, and like Sonic fans at this stage are saying we want something bigger now, you know? Like we've had these little short entries, these little 2-hour games with colors, generations, forces. We want
Yeah.
something that feels big and has the gravitas of an original Sonic game. And now people are able to go back to Unleashed, and it delivers on that. It's like a 6 to 8 hour long game. It feels big, it's got a good focus on story, but with like a good sense of balance as well, you know? Like the story, I would say, in Unleashed is the best it's been as far as modern Sonic entries go.
I would agree with that on the story. I really like the story of Unleashed. The one thing that kind of got me with the werehog, because I picked up Unleashed again recently, for the 360 version, and I'm playing it on the 1S. And I think it's my first time playing the HD version. I think the version I played back in the day was on the PS2. There's one thing that I think would have helped improve the gameplay of the werehog a little bit, and that's if it didn't run at the frame rate of a PowerPoint presentation.
True.
Yeah.
Some of that is
I mean-
fixed in the PlayStation Network version of the game, though.
Is it? Okay.
I've been playing it recently on Xbox, and with the new Xboxes, that game finally runs what I would call acceptably. Like
No.
on the early levels, you can run through, you can speed boost through those. You run through someone's cafe and destroy it, and usually the game drops to like 5 frames per second, but not anymore, baby, not anymore. It's
It's
great.
very weird when you consider Unleashed, because I definitely agreed with your statement saying, like, I mean, that's just showing you like Sonic Team doesn't actually know what Sonic. He's along those lines. I apologize, but like they don't actually have an
I think
identity for this.
When you get a series like Sonic where it goes, okay, he's riding on a board. Okay, forget that. Fuck that. He's a genie or something now, or whatever it was. I don't forget it. He's the Black Knight now. Yeah, and forget that control system that we really put a lot into. We're not doing that anymore. Okay, now he turns into a werewolf. Yeah, that's what he does now. I think you can forgive someone for saying, do they know what they're doing? Do they have a vision here?
For sure. It's like, do they know what the actual appeal of
Yeah.
Sonic is? And that's
'Cause
why
that's not. Yeah, that's not me saying all those games suck, though most of them do. But that's not me saying all of
that's
those.
kind of where I get frustrated, though, is I think
Yeah.
oftentimes, like, a lot of reviews would go based on the emotions that they feel towards the game rather than what the actual content is. And I would say this, whether you like the werehog or not, or whether
Yeah.
you roll with the concept or not, the content of Sonic Unleashed is some of the best that the series has to offer, I would say, in terms of like a quality standpoint. And I think it's kind of frustrating to me that, like, at the time, like, so few people acknowledged that, and now Sega have basically ditched a lot of the stuff that actually made Sonic Unleashed good, which was like the scale and scope of it, the little locales that you could explore that would add a little bit of extra context to that world. And that's kind of where it got frustrating. It was like, hold on, guys, hold on, let's just pause and let's like by all means say, I want something a bit more, streamlined, I guess. But like, I don't know. I think that's just kind of the thing
Well,
is like, yeah.
I guess that's kind of the
When it-
argument like against like Sonic Team not knowing what Sonic is, though, isn't it? Because they always overcorrect and they always take
That's
out elements
yeah,
that we
like
really
Yeah.
like. And ironically enough, it's when Sonic is just allowed to be Sonic is kind of when the games are at their best in any of these eras, in my opinion. My problems with the older 3D games aren't so much like, I don't know. I guess my problems aren't so much like the content itself. It's just that it doesn't have polish to it. And
because they're
Unleashed,
constantly pulling out all the other stops.
yeah, and Unleashed, if you think about it, it's really not that different from Sonic Adventure 2 in terms of like drastically different play styles
Yeah.
between all these other things. But you spend so much time with the werehog, it is a little bit jarring, and
Well,
it's hard to accept it when I'm there for Sonic.
well, thinking about when it came out, taking even aside from the Werehog, like when they presented that game, and it was like, okay, you're not really in these whimsical worlds anymore. You're kind of in on Earth, sort of.
Sure.
Like you're in China or you're in like some European place. I don't know. I don't know geography.
We had that since Adventure 1 and 2, though. To be fair,
I mean,
Yeah,
I would
but,
even say
then,
that like
but the
Pumpkin
adventure stages, so to speak, well, the action stages in Sonic 1 and 2, to me, they still feel very sort of abstract. And in Unleashed, there was that real kind of, I don't know. I don't know how to explain what the distinction is, but it's just kind of like you're just running through a city. It's not like you're in a weird whimsical Sonic world. You're not in Twinkle Park. You're not in like
I mean, I would still say though that compared to the games at the time that were coming out, Sonic was always going against the grain of whimsy. Like I would say, like if you look at Mario, like if you look
Yeah.
at the comparison between Sonic and Mario, is for every time Mario did whimsy, Sonic went in kind of the other direction. And like
yeah,
even
it's like Whimsy
with
was just
Green
kind
Hill,
of there, but he was still more grounded by comparison.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
there because it was kind of par the course. And I think Sonic has kind of evolved with the times to kind of fulfill that. And I think where that completely stopped dead in its tracks was Sonic Lost World, because fuck Sonic Lost World.
Oh, I hate
But
that
like,
game.
I was thinking,
I don't even hate that game. I just think
Yeah.
fuck you for being so Mario.
that's my thing is like, I don't know if this is just me like starting with SA1 and then just kind of like building my expectations off of that, but I feel like something was lost after Unleashed. It felt like
Yeah.
the last
Yeah,
game that was
agreed.
really allowed to just go big. When's
Mm.
the last time we had a finale to a Sonic game that felt that hype?
Well, that's exactly it.
I'd say
Well,
Colors almost got close to it if it wasn't just for this
Oh,
goofy
Colors was
ass
one of the
script.
most boring finales the series has had. It was
I'll say
about
this,
as bad
this
as
is-
Generations.
Is that
No,
when you're
this
just
is-
Running
running
away
out
from a
of
black
bullets?
hole is pretty cool.
What about Black Knight's? Because Black Knight was made after Unleashed.
If
We're
we're just
talking about good
mainline,
games, sirs.
though,
Was
like,
it?
Black Knight is a good game.
I'm
Black
kidding.
Knight
I
came
haven't
out
played Black
after
Knight. I can't
Unleashed.
talk.
So one thing I will say though is
Yeah.
like this is going to be a hot take, but I'm going to say this: Sonic Forces is a sign of good things to come, because while it completely fucking failed, it was the first game since Colors to try to meet that scale again.
I liked Sonic Forces. I didn't get what everyone was so mad about.
Just a
Oh, for
fascinating
fuck's
human
sake.
being. Oh
This
my
is-
God, Stuart.
No, I like
I
it as
want-
well, but it
Hold
is
on,
just like
I want to hear Stewart's. I want to hear.
I do
Stewart's take
too.
on
I
that.
want.
This
I
is-
yeah.
It was
let's
just
go
it was
dicks
just like
out, everybody.
it was just like what, like 40 levels of Sonic stuff with no like stupid fucking.
Classic Sonic, the Avatar.
Well, the classic Sonic. I know the
I
classic
mean, they
Sonic
still
stuff was
played like
fine.
Sonic though. Like
The
I get
classic
that.
Sonic stuff.
The
was fucking
Avatar,
horrible,
though,
like,
the Avatar
like-
felt
and
like
you know, and
stopping
it
every 3
didn't- and I
seconds
never-
to do
and it was
something
the-
different.
Let him
And
speak.
it was like
Sorry,
it
sorry.
ran really nicely. It was like 60 blocked. It looked nice. I thought it had lots of nice set pieces that I liked, and I got to make Sonic's dad, which was just lanky Sonic with a mustache. And I
Oh,
just
look
thought
what
it
you
was
did.
fun. I didn't think it invented the wheel or reinvented the wheel or whatever. But I just enjoyed playing it. I thought it was just like 40 levels of bite-sized Sonic fun. It was fine. I didn't
If
think
I
it was
may,
garbage or anything. I just thought it was fine. And
the problem.
sorry, go on. Sorry.
The problem with Sonic Forces isn't so much that it's bad. The problem is that it does stuff that's been done before in the franchise
Yeah.
10 times better and just does it so much worse. Like, for example, if you take Sonic Generations as like the blueprint, it's the one where you've got 2 Sonics and stuff. It does what Sonic Forces does with having the 2 Sonics, but it does it a million times better because, for starters, the level design is so much more involving for the player, and the Sonics just control so much better. And the thing with Sonic Forces isn't so much this is really bad, but why is it worse than it was before? You know, like, it doesn't do anything new, but everything it does worse, and that's the key question. Like, if you put Sonic Forces in front of me, I can play it, I can have a lot of fun with it, all the same. But it's just, the question is, why is it worse? That's all there is to it, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but it's got that level where you break out of null space with your buddy.
Okay,
and then,
that's the best level in the game. Yeah, I agree
and
with
then
that.
fist bump or whatever it's called starts
Yeah,
playing.
it's a
and
good
I'm like,
fucking level, and like,
me and
yeah.
Sonic and
I thought
Sonic's
it was an
dad get
okay
running around.
45 seconds. Sure, maybe.
Yeah, it was
You're
a
being
fun
generous. It was like
minute.
4 seconds. It was
That's
really
that's the issue.
Well,
though.
yeah,
It's like,
I just got my serotonin. It was like, okay, I'm gonna press right. I'm gonna hit the boost button. I'm gonna press R2 or whatever when the
where are you
quick time
going if
events
you're
happen.
pressing right in a 3D
And then
state?
I
I'm
guess
going
my
to
problem, yeah,
I'm
is
gonna
like,
get my S rank. I'm gonna unlock some shoes, and I'm gonna feel good about myself.
oh god, oh my god.
I don't know. I was like, I think my thing was that was my monotonous Sonic game. I didn't hate anything actively in it. But it was like there was nothing in there for me to gravitate towards that I really loved. I didn't really care much for the music or the visuals. The Avatar character was really annoying to play as.
I mean, yeah,
What
like
about the
the
bit
other
where you're
thing is,
running and the robot ostriches are running alongside you? I loved that, man.
it's a
I've
fun couple of
probably
seconds
already
of holding
forgotten
down
about that.
It's a fun few seconds of holding down the square button, I'll give it that.
Yeah,
But
they were
like,
great.
the thing I'll say about Forces is it is a perfectly fine game for if you just enjoy smacking your face into robots. But like, the thing with Sonic is we've had experiences that are so much more involving than this, like even in the 3D run. And it's just like, another thing is like the stage length in that game is just pathetic. Like,
Yeah, but
stages,
there's like 50 of them.
Oh, I
there's
don't
not.
mind if they're
There-
short.
There's 40, yeah, but they end before they begin. Like, I would end the stage and think, oh, I can see so much more going on over there. Why is the goal here?
So would you
Mhm.
say the issue is less length and more pacing?
I mean, even length, just because the game takes fucking 1 hour and 45 minutes to complete if you skip the cutscenes.
Yeah, it's
That's fair.
perfect. I'm a busy man.
Oh,
get-
fuck you, Stuart. I want an 8-hour Sonic game, man. Give me
Do you
the
want
8
to
hours.
use your second shithead for this comment? Like, would you like to
No,
get
that's I don't want to hog it up, man.
I'm gonna
Okay,
be honest. I still don't need an 8-hour Sonic game. I'm okay with getting like a Sonic game that's the length of Adventure 1 or 2, because those are like good 3-4 hour games when you go through them, and I'm
Oh,
okay
Sonic
with
Adventure.
that.
It's only 3 or 4 hours after you kind of get the hang of everything you're doing, not your first run through.
Yeah, I'd still say it took me a couple of days to beat like Sonic.
I got
Adventure
stuck
2.
in the jungle for 3 or 4 hours in Sonic Adventure, and I couldn't find the end.
Oh,
Oh,
man,
well-
when I was a
well,
kid, I had
maybe
no
you're just
idea
bad.
how to get
Yeah.
over there. And
And
I
Sonic
love
Adventure, man.
I
Man,
love that game.
people said I was shitting on Sonic Adventure, and when I said it was falling apart, it is falling apart, but it rules. That's why it rules, because you can break the boundaries and do whatever you want. It's a great game.
Oh, I adore that game to pieces. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I probably play through it like twice a year.
It's so good. It's so much fun to play. I love it.
I love it. It's like, and yeah, you're right. Like, even being able to like break around the boundaries, like, isn't that kind of part of the fun of it? Like, part of the reason I got interested into like how games are designed and how they work and everything was, you're going through Emerald Coast, and it's just like, oh, you can break past these invisible walls and get over to this part of the stage faster.
Curious,
Stuff like
which
that.
versions did you guys play? Did you play the DX or the original? Like, because I
Both.
think one of them is glitchier than the other, if I'm not mistaken.
DX is worse if memory serves. I did play both versions though. I had the Dreamcast version and then I had the GameCube version later.
Yeah, and I mean, it was hard not to get caught up in the spectacle of Sonic Adventure when it first came out. It was like the prettiest game out there on the market,
I
and it was.
I didn't think this at the time because I wouldn't really thinking about it critically, but with hindsight, like it's the 3D Sonic game that feels the most like a Mega Drive Sonic game to me, because you do have that scope to interact with the environment in a way that isn't quite so prescribed as the Boost games, where you can. I mean, I think Generations did it best. Generations has a lot of alternate routes that don't look like alternate routes, but they are.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But Adventure is more just like, almost like a sandbox. It's like, yeah, there's a linear path through this, but if you find a way to exploit that, then we're not going to punish you. We're not going to stop you.
Yeah, and the
You know,
physics were just really,
yeah, and
really nice.
I think that's really cool. I just think that's really cool and fun, and that's what Sonic should be to me. Is that kind of, yeah, there's a path through it, but make your own kind of way through that path. Just that's what Forces does wrong for me, and I liked Forces, but Forces is very much like there is no scope for any kind of creativity in the way you play it at all. You can do
Yeah.
this. You can
I
basically
think
there's like one route, and if there is another route, it's very, very obvious. Basically,
I think what's also made people really angry with Force. This is where I kind of took it a little personally when I
is it
first
because it
played
came out like the same week as Mania? Is that
No,
why?
it's not
Okay.
that. I don't like.
It
I
came
like
out the same year as
Mania.
Odyssey, though.
Oh yeah,
Even okay, but like my kind of thing
Mario
was
Forces.
a lot of people that have never played Sonic before will say Sonic games are just boost to win, or Sonic games are just hold right to win. This
That's total
game,
shit. Total
this
fucking shit.
game was that. Sonic Forces was that made flesh. The rest
Pretty
of
much,
them,
yeah.
no.
Mhm.
But Forces was basically like Sega said, we've got a reputation among people that have never fucking played Sonic games. Let's go ahead and make that come true. It's like, no, fuck off. I
Well,
defended you.
people say the dumbest arguments about Sonic games, and it drives me crazy though.
Yeah.
Like
I
I've
don't
seen
think they're wrong with that one though. Not with Boost
Huh?
anyway. I think the Boost to win. I like you said, Pup. I think they do that with Forces. My problem with
Forces,
that
yeah.
and Ultimate is they're just so incredibly focused on getting as many little babies as possible. I understand that.
Hang on. How is colors boost to win?
No, let me get to my overall point. Like that's a separate thing. My concern with Forces and Ultimate is just how easy they make the games. Like they are so obsessed with getting as young of a crowd as possible.
Oh, sure, but like,
And that's fine, but at the same time, they are so confused in what they're trying to do. Like the tone of Forces and like who they're trying to appeal to doesn't always match up with what gameplay is on
sure,
hand
but
here.
there is quite a disparity between boost to win and easy. Like Sonic Colors
That's
is
fine. I'm not saying that, Pup. My point is
yeah,
they're both doing two separate things to make it as easy as possible.
because
And I had that problem with Forces. Colors, yes, and again, like I have a whole hour and a half talking about it. They did a much better job with the boost stuff there, and that's strangely what's robbed from Forces is I don't like a lot of the block based platforming, but they did a pretty damn good job utilizing the boost and making you really think about it. And somehow that was lost in boost games. That's alarming to me. Anyway, sorry.
We're all agreed Sonic Forces best 3D Sonic.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I fucking hate Sonic.
Second only to 06.
Being around all of you actively makes me consider Alivant.
No, there is actually there is brilliance to Sonic 06. And it's proven by Project 06.
There's good ideas.
Hold on. Hear me out though. Project 06 is made to be a faithful reimagining of Sonic 06 on PC, rebuilt from the ground up in Unity Engine. It doesn't change the vision by any stretch. It just makes it technologically sound. And people are playing it and they're loving it, not just because it's better than the Xbox 360 PS3 experience, but because there is actually really good level design in Sonic 06 and some really good concepts in Sonic 06. And I think, personally, and this is going to be the hot take to end all fucking hot takes, but I think if Sonic 06 were just treated as a misstep and they continued in that direction, we would have the Sonic franchise in a better place than it is today.
Well, I can agree with
I
that.
agree with
I
you. Yeah.
I don't think that's a hot take at all.
But then you would have to ignore the fact that it's the biggest imaginable heap of shit.
But it's not. That's the
thing.
There's
It
nuance.
was
when it was.
Have you seen what Robotnik looks like in that game? It makes
he looks like he does in the Sonic movie, which everybody loves.
No, he
I
doesn't.
don't.
No, he doesn't.
I'm with
He's
Stuart
tough,
on
you
this.
kidding?
I think the graphical design of that game is fucking hot shit. I really don't like what they did in terms of the motion capture or the super realistic Eggman. I thought that looked
When
terrible.
you say everyone loves the Sonic movie, are you talking about the OVA or are you talking about the really bad one with fucking Jim Carrey?
We're talking about
like that movie.
Well,
man.
we're talking about both
it.
of them. That movie's good.
Did you see Sonic? You farted in it.
And
yeah, I know. I don't like. Well, here's the thing. I don't like all of the movie, but it
You
ran at a
like the bit where he
consistent.
farted.
It ran at a consistent. It ran at a consistent 25 frames per second, so it's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, fair
Oh
play.
my god.
I'm going to praise the only thing I liked about the Sonic movie. I liked the bit at the end where he faces off with Robotnik, and for that 5 seconds of that movie, he actually acts like Sonic. That made me happy.
I mean, the entire idea from that movie was that Sonic isn't going to have his personality in the beginning. He's going to earn that throughout the film. So, like,
He still kind of has.
It could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse.
I mean,
but,
would you really want Sonic to have his full-on game personality in a movie for an hour and a half in the theater?
No,
wouldn't.
all I want to be entertained is I want a fart every minute.
Okay.
Can
I
we,
open
can,
this-
hold
I
on.
open this-
On the same level as
Can we get a
on the-
corporate? Can we get a corporate mandate for flossing while he's farting too?
Yeah. That
Oh
would be
my
perfect.
god, the fart floss.
how much worse is it really than Baldy
predicted-
McNose hair?
I predicted on
Baldy
Twitter.
nose hair.
Heart floss
Oh,
is also known
God.
as a G-string.
Farty nose
Jesus.
hair.
In the second Sonic movie, I think that Tails is going to use his tails to propel the smell of his own fart. I honestly think that's going to happen. and if
one
it
can only
happens-
hope.
Sonic, I
It
hope you're
happens.
ready for these chili bean burritos.
Oh god.
I'm interested to see what they do. Maybe
His
they'll
tails
embrace
are
a little
just
bit
his butt
more.
cheeks.
I mean, I
Of,
can,
uh,
I can
Sonic
make,
there.
I can take a piss on this movie all I want, but everyone knows I'm going to be there watching it. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to have my goddamn money no matter what. So yeah.
Man, it really goes to show you, like, just going through this series again with somebody who has a completely different perspective, even from, I'd say, all of us here. Like, not everybody agrees with you 100% on every single point here. I mean, like I said up front here, like I was expecting to be more or in your base in terms of what
You
you
wanted a
liked and
team.
didn't like.
You wanted a duo to fight against us Zoomers. And you
I
didn't
really
get it.
thought it was, well, no, I told you, like, when I initially said, hey, let's talk to Stuart, I really thought it was because there was a lot of heat in there in our conversations. I really thought it was going to be like, you know, an us versus them, and then kind of coming to the table and you know, just having that chat and, you know, realizing, oh, we're all fans, we're all Sonic fans. We still got there, but it's still like fascinating how.
Well, I mean, I can drop another hot take if it helps. I don't know.
Sure, go
Do
for
it.
it.
Fucking,
All
we got
right.
a little bit of time still.
I think Sonic 4 is pretty fun. I quite like it.
Jesus
All
fucking.
right,
No,
I'm
hold
sorry.
on,
I have
hold
to
on.
go.
Hold up.
I
He's
have-
he's got a point. The worst thing about Sonic 4 is
I'm
the title.
canceling you both on
Yeah.
Twitter.com.
Well,
Seriously, I'd like to hear your thoughts on
You know
it.
what gets me about Sonic 4, specifically Episode 1, talking about that, is I see people online just like, this game sucks because it's got like fucked physics. Look, you can do this, and it's like Sonic walking up a horizontal, like a vertical wall, you know, and just hovering there. And I'm like, well, don't do that then. Like, why would you ever do that? Except to
Wait,
show
are
that
you?
off?
Wait,
fair,
hold
though.
on.
To
Are
be
you gonna
fair.
be? Are you gonna be like
That's
an
like-
American doctor who's just like, when you go, "Hey doc, it hurts when I do this," you just go, "Oh, right. Well, that solves it. Just don't do that."
Well, I mean, if
Just
you're
don't-
gonna have to pay
That is a fair
$10,000,
point, though. You shouldn't be able to do that, though.
No,
like, if the
no.
game is...
I love
I-
that you defend Sonic 1 for making you build up your own momentum, but you're like, Sonic 4 on a wall? Fine, I can have Spider Hog.
Yeah,
no
but
big
the-
deal.
listen,
I
mean,
like
it's just
Sonic Forces because it
Yeah,
runs
but,
at
like-
60 FPS.
Yeah, but like they're not the same thing. I mean, I said in the article, which Pop said, Sonic 4. I think if it wasn't called Sonic 4, it would generally be considered like, yeah, this is kind of dumb, but it's it's fun enough.
Yeah, like, it would be
that's what-
inoffensive. Like,
That's how I kind of feel about it. I just think it's kind of a fun game, and if you don't stop at all of the ramps and then slowly walk up them, because why would you ever do that?
you
then you're
can
not-
have fun with
that
Sonic
stuff's
4,
not going to
like-
really interact with you. I mean, the only bit I really hate in Sonic 4 is in the friggin' temple where you have to tilt the
flames.
screen to make the water drain out of the little space you get trapped in. I can't remember. It's like a cork. You're removing a
yes.
cork,
Yeah,
and it's
in
really
Lost
clearly
Labyrinth,
been made
and
for tilt devices, but it's not.
Well, I think the problem with 4 for a lot of us is, like Pup said, is that 4.
Mm.
And like you already said, Pup, it's like, why should I bother with this when I already have a better thing out there? But given it the context, what we know now, how it was originally just going to be a mobile game, and you see so many elements, they're like, okay,
would be
obviously these
fine,
are
wouldn't it?
touch controls.
Yeah,
Like,
it
it was
doesn't
meant for
say-
touch.
Fine.
in
But it's
Casino Street, in the background, doesn't it say like Sonic Touch or something? It's like,
Right. And
yeah,
like in that context, it kind of makes sense, but I think they might have been in a lose-lose situation because like I feel like if it
Yeah.
came out on mobile, people would have been like, "Well, why is it on consoles?"
I mean, as
And
well as that, it's worth noting it is still one of the weaker DIMP Sonic games as
Oh
well.
God,
But
yes.
like,
oh
no,
fuck
no
yeah,
argument.
the
absolutely.
thing is, if it were just developed as like a mobile game and it were called Sonic the Portable, it would be a pretty fun little mobile game.
Yeah.
But the fact they called it like Sonic 4, it's like, well, you take your dick out for your cousin as well? Like, Jesus.
The fact they called it Sonic 4 is like the fucking pits.
Yeah, I
Like-
mean, it really
It's like,
that's
this is what
interesting,
this
isn't it?
franchise means to us. Like, oh yeah, our Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles is like considered one of the best games ever made by Sonic fans, young and old, blah 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 blah. And we've got that lovely prestigious title. We're gonna put it on this mobile game that wasn't intended to be Sonic 4.
Yeah.
Like fuck me.
They
Fuck
robbed the
me.
cynicism of that. Like
Yeah.
they robbed Sonic Mania from its rightful title, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I wouldn't say Sonic Mania is worthy of being called Sonic 4. I'd say Sonic Mania is the perfect title for it because
I
Sonic-
agree with you.
Sonic-
I think those are the right
Sonic,
people to make Sonic
We
4.
surrender. Sonic, fine. Here. Yeah, that's what it should be called. Sonic Mania is now called Sonic, fine. Here. Here's the thing you want.
Sonic Fine.
Yeah, fine. Here. Here's the thing you want. Sonic Mania.
Sonic-
More of the old Sonic. You happy now?
Just
Sonic
is
Defeat.
I just think it's such a fascinating like what if scenario for this franchise. It really like if they really just kept the course with Sonic 4 and we had Sonic the Mobile, what if we were sitting here now talking
Sonic the
about this
Mobile?
long lost Sonic mobile game? It's like, wow, it was actually really good, but it got trapped on iPhone 4 and
Yeah.
man, we really just want it back. Like it's
Nah, I think we'd be like,
Yeah, there was an okay piece of 2D Sonic Meteor at the time.
that could have been the case
It was
too.
under-
That could have been the
it
case
was a little
too.
underrated. I wish more people knew about it, but it was okay.
I think well, I
This
think
is
you would
the
have gotten
thing
like those YouTube videos. I think it'd
like,
largely
Sonic
just
4
go
is a hidden
unremembered.
gem.
Yeah, I think that's what would have happened. Like it would have been on Game Appall, just like, this is actually pretty good, and nobody really talks about it. That kind of thing. It's just fascinating, man.
I always say I got pretty low standards, and I think I do have pretty low standards. But as far as I'm concerned, if you've got a game that is fundamentally just a 2D Sonic game, I'm gonna have a fun time playing it.
Yeah,
I can't think of a 2D Sonic game that actually fits that traditional framework that I think is just a piece of shit. Maybe Sonic Blast on the Game Gear. And,
Sonic
you know,
Blast
I
is
still play
like,
that.
especially when you get to Blue Marine. Fuck Sonic Blast.
I gotta go play
Bulimia
that.
Reef.
Do you?
Fucking Blue Marine, where you got the fucking tubes and everything, and like,
Oh yes,
no,
yes.
not a
yes.
single one of those tubes leads in the right direction. I can't get past that fucking level because A, I don't have the patience, and B, it's just like, oh my god, Blue Marine, fuck you.
I think the fact that I grew up with a Master System has made me have low standards.
I think the fact that I grew up with Sonic 06 has made me have low standards.
I think the fact I grew up with Sonic 06 has made me have a massive aneurysm in my head.
I think the fact you're more okay with Sonic Blast has made me have just death.
I think I want to die.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
just, man, what?
So Stuart,
That sums it all up. All Sonic fans are convicts.
basically. So Stuart, now that we kind of just went over this crazy, messy history with the franchise, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on it currently or going forward?
Sonic's is my little blue son, so I love him. But I really don't like the current, what do they call it, meta era Sonic? Where the joke is, this is all a load of shit, really. Ha 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 ha.
Jay, it's even reached actual gaming journalism. Good job, man.
Jesus. Oh,
I mean,
no.
that's how it seems to me. Like they've embraced this kind of not great sort of side of. I don't like. I guess I don't like the meme Sonic that much. I just find it kind of annoying and not funny. But as far as the actual games go, I mean, coming back to Sonic Colors Ultimate was a bit of a wake-up call for me because you liked it on the Wii, and on the Wii you're playing it sort of fundamentally compromised. It runs kind of poorly on the Wii. Like the controls are a bit squishy, and obviously it's not in HD. Obviously,
Mm.
and I was like, it's gonna be really cool to play this game liberated because I've been wanting it for like 10 years. I've been saying, why isn't this on fucking PC or something?
That's a great way. Yeah,
And
that's a
they
great way. Like
finally
liberated.
and they finally liberated it, and I'm like, sit down, here we go. Sonic Colors, mate. The way the way you're supposed to play Sonic Colors, and you play Sonic Colors, and you're like, this isn't great.
Yeah.
That's for me anyway. I was kind of like, this is a bit fucked. Like, why are there levels where I have to follow a moving platform around really slowly? What's happened here? This isn't Sonic 2 on the Master System. What's happened?
All games that are not Sonic 2, they're all bad.
Mm.
It's really weird because I was
No,
thinking
but no, I
that
mean
when I played
literally.
it on the Wii, and then I kind of tolerated a bit more in the Ultimate. It's weird how it works for me.
What I meant by that is Sonic 2 on the Master System has stages where you literally just have to wait for moving platforms to go in certain like patterns, and that's what Colors felt like to me a bit at times. It felt that's not the strength of the series for me, but I don't think it's a bad game. It was just a bit interesting playing it how it was, I guess, meant to be seen, and kind of just finding it a little bit like, this is kind of stiff and not my favorite, really. I'm looking forward to Sonic Rangers, and anything they put out, I'm going to buy because I'm a diehard fan for life. I wish they'd make another 2D one because that's my jam, but I don't know. They don't. They got Sonic Mania out. They went, oh, here we go, the most critically acclaimed and best-selling like Sonic game. I want to say best-selling. I'm not sure that's actually true. The most critically acclaimed Sonic game in literally like 20 years. Should we not ever release a sequel and pretend it never happened? Yeah, good idea.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
we're smart.
It's
We're very
we
smart.
had an episode on that last week. It's like, where
Yeah.
the fuck
Yeah.
is Sonic Mania 2?
Yeah, which to me is baffling, because I'd love to play Sonic Mania 2. I don't even care if it's like slightly crappier than the first one; it would still be really good. And
Or
I've got,
use the
I
modern
like
character
Sonic Mania.
designs or anything.
I've
Yeah.
got some problems with Sonic Mania, but they don't prevent me from loving the shit out of it. So let's
Yeah.
go some more. Just as long as they don't stop making Sonic games entirely, then everything's going to be fine.
See, I'm just like, as far as I'm like a 3D Sonic fan, and I'm just like,
Mm.
don't you forget about me, Sega.
Well, they're not.
Don't
But
you?
You just completely derail him. He's got to sing it now.
There we
It's
are.
weird, isn't it? I feel like we also do this every other fucking year with this franchise, where it's like
Simple Minds songs. Oh,
3D
sorry.
fans feel like they're not being represented. Now 2D fans are going to feel unrepresented. It's just such a weird.
Well, we
Just
had
follow the
we had that
business
period when they
model.
were releasing all those fucked up, in my humble opinion, your mileage may vary, fucked up 3D games on the GameCube and that. And every year we were still getting like a advanced game or a Rush game or Sonic Colors on the DS. We were getting these 2D games, and I was getting my dose from that. And I was like, yeah, you guys have fun with Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm playing Sonic Rush, mate. But now it's just kind of like, because games development has basically fundamentally changed, because the Switch was, well, the 3DS was really what feels like the last kind of enforced old school game machine. Does that make sense? Like, you cannot
Yeah.
make a contemporary feeling game on that thing. And
I
I'm
think-
not shitting on it. I love the 3DS to death.
Yeah.
But
No, I literally bought one just so I could experience like the Rush series and the Sonic Boom DS games and stuff, and I had a blast.
Okay.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. I know you haven't played them.
Oh, I have played them. I played both of them.
Oh, they're good
Sonic
then, aren't
Boom
they? Come
and
on.
Fire and Rush.
There.
Well, I mean,
Wow.
no, they're really boring.
The
Yeah.
turnaround.
Boring. You're boring.
I know.
Sonic 1 is boring.
I never disputed the fact that I'm boring.
God, I'm sorry about our dog.
I mean, they're not horrible, but they aren't fun. Like,
I found them very, very tedious. I haven't played them in years, to be
Especially
fair.
Fire
But
and Ice. That's just basically a classic Sonic game.
I've actually been.
No.
You do have me interested in Fire and Ice. I do want to give it a shot.
I'm going to give
the
it
same-
more of a shot. But
the
it's
same as the first one, except
It's
you have to
not
press the
the-
L button to change some
problem.
platforms on and off
The
sometimes.
problem with the first one is the backtracking, and the backtracking isn't even present in Fire and Ice. It's just
You know
literally
what?
at
To be
your own-
fair, I've not played it for a long time. I did play through the
there
whole
you
of Fire and
go.
Ice, but it's been a
There you
while, and I may be wrong, but I'm not.
Absolutely wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the problem with games journalism.
It
Oh,
is,
So
God.
that's the message of today's video is, if you don't like Sonic Boom, Fire and Ice, then you're basically worthless.
This is the second
Anyways.
Gamergate, isn't it? I've just started.
Oh no, no!
Here we go again,
Burn that
baby.
entire
Okay,
thing
but,
to the
like,
ground.
Basically, last week I said that if Sega really want to copy Nintendo, the business model they should do with Sonic is every 5 or so years, a really good 3D game that they've taken their time on, and between that, they can literally shit out Mania sequels. And that would be a good business model, I think.
They
I
can
think we
change the
just
name
want
to,
like a
yeah.
decent 3D game. I think that's all anyone
Sonic
wants.
Mania, Sonic Lunacy, Sonic. I don't know.
Psychopathy.
Psychopathy.
Psychosis.
Sonic, this is the
Yeah.
one where he becomes the Joker.
It is kind of a shame.
Sonic Joker 2019.
It is a shame that Sega really couldn't, ironically enough, just keep pace with Nintendo, because I really wish we lived in this world where Sonic had all of his buddies in their own side games at this point, and they're their own franchises,
Tales of Adventure
and-
6.
Knuckles
and we'd be
Smash.
arguing, well, does Knuckles really count as a Sonic character anymore? Like we fucking do with Wario, who is literally the antithesis of Mario. It's just
Robotnik Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine needs a re-release.
Yeah,
it's
it
called
does.
Puyo Tetris, dog.
Oh,
That's
fuck
not
off,
Dr.
Nick!
Robotnik's Bean.
Yeah. It's
Actually-
Puyo Puyo.
I mean, Sonic's in it.
And remember, Mean Bean Machine is getting re-released on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh,
there
yeah.
Oh my
you go.
god, you're right. Holy shit.
Yep.
I'm buying the Genesis controller just for that.
Yep.
Isn't it
Robotnik
amazing
like-
we got to see a Nintendo Direct with that fucking old frumpy ass Robotnik design yet again? Just a magic time, man.
I love that. That's my favorite.
I know
Robotnik
you do.
design.
Oh,
I
what,
know
the
you do.
Adventures of
You
Sonic
like
the
that
Hedgehog
Robotnik because you want his ass cheeks. Just admit
Well,
it.
there
Who
is the
doesn't?
fact that you can see his crack through a metal harness. Like, what does that say?
Long
Nicely
John
defined crack.
Long John Baldry Robotnik is a gift that keeps
He's the
on giving.
best Robotnik. Like, legitimately, Long
And
John Bolt. Like, I love Mike
The
Pollock, don't get me
YouTube
wrong, but
poops, Matt. The YouTube
He
poops.
was the birth of the YouTube poop phenomenon, and that defined so much of my childhood. Going
Oh,
into
God, yes.
secondary school, seeing my friends and being like, "Ha, Pingus!" Like that's that's the experience, you know.
Some say that the sound of his echoing butt cheeks is clapping through the earth through the wind into this day.
Sonic, you're looking submissive and readable.
You can still hear a pingus on the wind.
You rotten hedgehog! You're looking submissive and readable. It
Oh,
warms the
shit.
cockles in my hands.
It warms the
Around
cockles
there.
in my heart.
Well,
I
let's,
just- when I bought my DVD collection, I was just watching from episode 1. Just like the first scene with Scratch is that Robotnik builds Scratch, and Scratch's like, "Are you my mommy?" And the first thing he does is lick his dick all the way up to his head. And I'm just like, this cartoon, man, they knew what they were doing, and I love it for that reason.
I'm
That's
excited
Robotnik.
to go
licking
back to
his
that
big
with
cock.
a
What's
new
wrong with that?
perspective. I'm super excited for that.
Robotnik is just in the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. He's just basically sex on legs, as far as I'm concerned.
They need, yeah, like I think that's the key though to
He's
like Sonic's
pure
future.
confidence.
Stop
Is they've done-
posting about Dr. Robotnik.
He's
No,
a
the
tasty
key-
soft serve that needs a licking.
The key to Sonic's future now is because they're doing the whole meme thing right now, like it's current. They need to evolve into shit posting, and then we will have the Sonic of tomorrow.
I don't
Hey,
know
do you
if I don't know if I really count Sonic Twitter as, this big part of the franchise, but I mean that's a discussion for another day. We've talked long hours
and
about
hard.
meta era. But yeah,
Mm.
no, I guess the end of the day, Robotnik just gives Pup the long john to
He
his
does.
Baldry.
He
How
really
long
does.
did
And
you
right-
have
and
that
rightly so.
marinating?
Right.
Just
Like-
for a minute. Just for a minute. Like about
Why
3
are we
minutes. I
talking
wanna
about
say.
your Long John marinating? Why are we here?
You know
I-
why.
We should
Well,
probably
the only reason I came on is because I was told that was going to be the topic of discussion.
right.
It was in content.
I think
mean-
we only have one question so far. Our super chat's not currently working today. It
No
is one
money.
I think is going to lead to an interesting other conversation. I actually wanted to talk with you about, Stuart, while we had you
Oh,
here.
yeah.
So might as well, and I apologize because I didn't write down the name of who asked this, but
Hold on.
the question was, what is your favorite dedicated Sonic fan site and why? I mean,
Oh.
sites like Sonic Retro, TSSZ,
Mm.
Archie Sonic Online, and that's where they stop with the with the examples, which is ironic because you have a certain history with one of them.
I only Sonic the Comic Online, to be honest, because
Yes.
I didn't really go on the others that much. Apart from, I have an account on the Sonic Stadium which I used to troll for a bit, and then I got bored and stopped. I felt bad going on there because, like, I'm trying to think of a way to put this that isn't condescending. There's liking Sonic how I like Sonic, and then there's liking Sonic how they like Sonic, and there is a bit of a distinction there because I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if it's a British thing or what, but I just got kind of like, I can't be that earnest. I can't be that sincere. There's got to be some kind of I don't know, brusqueness. There's got to be some kind of meanness there, or it's not fun. And I mean that in coming from an affectionate sort of place. Like this is, I mean, that's kind of why I could write that article in the first place, is because I do love that series, so I feel like I can be mean to it. Does that make sense? Like, like an abuser. No, sorry, not like an abuser. No, it's got to be Sonic the Comic Online, because not only, I mean, the forum isn't really active so much now. It's more of a Discord thing, but I mean, I think they're doing a good job, and I'm not just saying that because I'm involved with it. Okay, that is the only reason I'm saying it. My contributions have made it what it is today. No, because I loved STC when I was a kid. I still think it's fucking great. That's not me dumping on Archie, even though I did talk about the Sally Butt comic. I do actually think Archie has stuff to offer. I think it actually gets shit on more than it deserves.
There's a lot of really shit storytelling. Don't worry about it.
There is, but there's also a lot of interesting stuff, even if it's not done brilliantly. You know, my kind
it
of
goes
value.
It goes from writer to writer. That's not important.
It's not, no. But yeah, I guess it's got to be Sonic the Comic Online. Sonic Retro seemed to do a lot of good work in terms of like archiving stuff and digging cool shit up and hacking and all that sort of thing. But they're too smart for me, so I don't go and interact with them. The main ones that I remember, like from when I was younger, it was like the original Sonic Stadium and like I said, the Moogle Cavern, and I hate to say it, but I remember Sonic Cult as well, which was bad. It was bad people.
Don't worry, that's just what the Sonic fan base is now.
Well, I mean, I guess that's
we
what it was.
talked about how there's a stigma against Sonic fans and it's unnecessary, and Nick just fucking rewinds the podcast by like how many minutes?
It's a cult. It's fine. It's what it is. All hail the blue god.
Oh god, I'm gonna have to go talk to Telltale. We gotta fix this now.
Anyway.
But yeah, for me now, I guess Twitter and the Sonic the Comic Online, because everyone should read it. I'm not just plugging it. It's really good.
Is this the one where Sonic is really abusive towards Tails? Because
it's not though. Those panels get taken out of context and it drives me crazy.
I want them to be in that context though.
Oh, I see. I mean,
reality
don't get me wrong.
Can be whatever I want.
Don't get me wrong. Tails is a little prick, but like,
oh my god,
he's so boring. Like Sonic, I've programmed the Miles Electric to.
We need to get MUME on here to fight Stuart.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fleetway's a very different beast, yeah.
I used to love Tails, and now they've made him into a big nerdling. I don't like him.
Oh yeah, no, we can all agree that modern Tails can bite me, whereas like classic Tails, well, like the fucking adventure era classic Tails and stuff.
Adventure era Tails is awesome. He's a good boy.
Oh yeah, he's the best.
He is indeed a good boy. Can you, just for anybody who might not know what it is, because we haven't actually explained it, what is Sonic the Comic Online?
Sonic the Comic Online is an online continuation of the Fleetway, as you guys call it, Sonic the Comic, which was a UK only. No, not only that. I think it was in some European countries as well.
Yeah.
Sonic serialized comic, which had sharper than you'd expect sort of storytelling and characterization. It was really good and interesting, and the art by Richard Elson, etc., was fucking superb. They also covered strips from other Sega games like Decap Attack, Echo the Dolphin, Kid Chameleon, all that sort of stuff. But Decap Attack was the only one that was really good.
Wait, they did a Echo the Dolphin comic?
Oh my god, not only did they do that, they have a xenomorph holding a gun to its head, and I need to post that out of context. It is hysterical.
Is it as horrifying as the games?
Yes.
It is.
Oh god,
it is lunacy, really man. It is amazing.
That is some like actual childhood trauma of mine. Is Echo the goddamn dolphin?
Oh, I got a good story about that, but I'll get to it. The STC Online is an online fan continuation of that, and by fan continuation I mean essentially pretty much everyone notable who worked on the original comic is aware of, has contributed, or is given it their blessing. So it's the nearest damn it official. And Sega know about it, and their approach is the same as it is with most fan works, which is like, you're not making any money off this, so we don't give a fuck. Which is
Right.
really laudable of them, I have to say. And it's been going for about
Sega does
50
what
odd
Nintendo
issues.
don't.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, totally. It's good. That's pretty much it. If you haven't read STC, it's all available online illegally, and I feel no qualms in saying that because there's no legal way to buy it, so it's either download it or never read it. If they put
Yeah.
it out in some books, which they goddamn should, then I'd say go buy it, but they haven't, so fuck them.
I mean, if there's no effort being put into its preservation, then you know what, they can fuck off.
Well, it's the same. It's with same with sort of emulation stuff. If there's no way to easily buy a game, or it's prohibitively expensive, and it's either download it or don't ever play it, then why wouldn't you download it? Make these things available, and people will pay for them. This is just facts.
I wonder how much of that's just like in legal limbo at this point.
Well, nobody. I don't think anyone really knows who owns the rights to Sonic the Comic. Actually.
Yeah,
It's
I've
really up in the
I've
air.
tried to find it before, and
Yeah.
I've not had any luck. So
we've dug and dug, and we can't figure out. So we just have to carry on with doing our own thing. And it's a really small team. The release schedule is really slow. But if you want to read some fun Sonic comics that are free, then stconline.co.uk, go and check it out. It's good.
there you go. What have you contributed to the website?
I've only recently started writing. I did a Sonic strip called Confidence Trick, which is about Sonic and Amy's relationship after the previous story arc, which went on for ages. It was about Sonic being framed for being a villain, basically, and the knock-on effects of that. I did a story called Time Over, which is introducing Infinite to the story in a way that I think is going to be interesting, because he's not that interesting in Forces. He's just kind of there.
He's just not.
Yeah.
I think he's like the perfect opportunity for them to do like a redemption in the series. I think Infinite.
Mhm.
Mom,
And
you
I've
should read
done-
that. That's cool.
And I've done some Decap Attack strips, which are just fun humor strips, which are going to relate more to people who read it back in the day or read British comics like the Beano back in the day, because that's the kind of tone I've gone for.
Is there anything pornographic in the bunch?
There isn't, unfortunately, and I have pushed
okay,
and
then.
pushed and pushed for this.
I'll bet you pushed and pushed and pushed for someone to do some pushing in the comics.
Well, if you want to
Mm.
see some Sonic pornography, it's incredibly easy to come by. And I mean that in every sense.
Yeah. Yeah, but it helps if someone I know has written it, you know?
What?
If you
Wait, what? Hold on,
Look.
I gotta take a double take on that one. What?
Don't worry.
listen, you guys, you know me now. If you want to PayPal me some money, I will write Sonic Gets Cornholed, and I'll send it to you. And we can all move on with our lives. But I
Why?
do not write Sonic Smart ever or for free.
That's
So you
fair.
mean
Get
just-
paid for what you're good at, you know?
You mean you just don't write it for free?
I just don't write it.
So
and
the ever
if-
part is like, that's just kind of an exaggeration, right?
No, it's not an exaggeration. I don't think I've ever written that. Oh
But
no,
let's
wait! I drew
say-
a picture. I drew a picture of an Omochow masturbating another Omochow as a joke.
Oh
And-
my god, no!
And then it was like
So
it was
that's
like
the only thing you've done, is that.
No, wait, listen. That's the thing. I drew it as a joke between me and a friend of mine in the past. It was like I drew
It's
it in
a-
MS Paint. It's not like supposed to be sexy.
It's
It's like, look, ha, ha, ha. It's
this
like,
is
look,
the
this is
Joker
my point.
joke.
But no, this is the worst part. This is the worst part. Someone uploaded it to Rule 34 under my username.
Oh
So it's
no!
Oh, I've
It's
got to
now
look for
officially-
it. I've got to look for it.
He,
If you-
pup,
you
your horny
Don't,
poster.
because I don't want people to go and look for it, so I shouldn't have mentioned it.
I mean, you
but-
could just put it in the private chat. You know?
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing
Oh,
that.
for fuck's
You-
sakes.
if you want to look it up,
fun.
you can go and find it, but I would prefer that it didn't get spread around.
It
Uh,
won't get
Let's,
spread.
let's keep going. Let's keep going.
No, I
Oh,
just want
there
to
was-
say I think it's funny
We
because
are-
by doing that, it has irreversibly, permanently been put in a position that makes it seem like a sincere masturbation aid when it never was.
Just imagine Omo Chow flying around. Make sure to use your left hand instead of your right so you don't get cramps.
I don't
I'm
like this.
Amachow. I'm here to teach you about jerking off.
All right, Sonic, it's time to learn about the birds and the bees.
I didn't realize that Omo Chow was the instigator of the second coming of Kumos.
We
the
need that
first
Sonic
coming.
dating sim game.
See, the worst thing is we've now leaned hard into the stereotype of Sonic fans
We
being
have.
degenerate.
Look, man, we all just want to fuck Sonic. Let's just put that on the table.
No,
God,
Nick
no.
the cat. Come on.
It's Knuckles. Everyone wants to fuck Knuckles. It's even
Everyone wants to get
Knuckles.
fisted by Knuckles. Extra anal expansion. Think
Good
about it.
God.
So
Okay, so
There is a
anyway,
bat right there with massive. Never mind.
any
No, don't worry,
conversation that
that's too
isn't
easy.
this.
It's too easy.
well, we should probably get wrapping up here sooner rather than later. We are getting
Well,
closer
yeah,
to this
if, if,
2
you're,
hour
if you're
mark.
gonna be, like fucking Sonic characters, you do want to wrap up. You don't know what kind of animal diseases they catch.
Oh,
Jesus.
All right, you need a. I think you're genuinely getting a little bit too horny here, Pumpkin.
No, okay,
I'm just-
secondhand horny isn't actual horny. Okay,
I'm just posting this
Sure.
directly from my fan art section. That's all I'm saying.
Fucking Christ.
Everybody wants to fuck Knuckles. Fantastic.
I
Well,
mean, I guess if you were forced at gunpoint to have sex with any Sonic character, I guess it would be Knuckles.
that's actually a good discussion though. Like, what? Let's
No,
not
Wait,
overthink it.
whoa! It's not.
Yes,
No,
but
it's
if you
not.
guys ever
You
want
gotta
to, if you guys
fuck
ever want to
one
have me
Sonic
back
character.
on, then that'll be the subject. Okay,
you got it. You got
Okay.
it.
3-hour round table.
This is what we need. This is what the show needs.
Mm.
So there's.
We gotta get those ratings up.
Before we wrap it up, we did have a couple of questions asked, and again, I'm sorry, guys. Our super chats are what they are. It's weird. We'll sort it out.
They're not working. But if you want to just send us some money in the post or something, go nuts.
There you go. But Storm Kenway had asked a question for everyone: who do you think deserves a spinoff more out of the cast? I think we've kind of answered this to some degree before. I mean, I want Knuckles.
I want Knuckles as well. I specifically want a Knuckles collectathon in the vein of Banjo-Kazooie.
That would be fun with his gliding and such.
Yes.
More
Yeah,
Shadow or
Knuckles.
Silver, as far as I'm concerned.
Wayne,
Knuckles.
what about you, Stuart? You have any thoughts on this?
Oh, I don't know. There are so many goddamn Sonic games. They should make fewer of them, not more. I want to play. I want a game where you. I want an Amy game that's like the Amy levels in Sonic Adventure, but there's like 500 of them. That
Oh
would be
yeah, we
fun.
just call that Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you're the one they chose to represent the Sonic fans.
You know, she would make for a decent puzzle platformer.
No, I just want to hit shit with a hammer. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Don't we all?
that's the name of the game. Amy fucks up shit with a hammer. 2.
It's Manhunt 3,
Can we
starring
get-
Amy Rose.
Yeah, can we get
Yeah.
like the violent Amy from like IDW where she's just like, I'm gonna gore someone with my hammer. Oh god, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
From
I'm gonna
IDW? What are
Pico
you
Pico
talking
your
about?
fucking
She
nutsack.
literally destroyed half of a person's arm with her hammer before realizing, oh wait, they're a zombie. It's okay for me to be violent towards
She
them.
reacted. She
Yeah.
did not react
Yeah.
great to that.
They're objectively correct answer though, and it's cucky.
You just get to watch everybody have fun.
Yeah, you play as the chicken watching all the other characters fuck.
Okay,
We're back here. We're back here again.
we're back. Yeah, let's. All
I
right,
won't
Junkyard
let you get
Productions.
away.
Junkyard Productions. Last question, if any of these get answered. Predictions on. Well, I guess Stuart specifically, your thoughts on Sonic Movie 2.
Oh, Tails fart. What? I think it's going to be a bad film that sucks, and everyone's going to inexplicably say it's good because of COVID.
First one was good. All things considered.
It's not.
In its own terms, like as far as like a kids' family film goes, it wasn't bad.
It could be. It could have been worse. That's the nice thing to say.
It ain't something I would watch if it wasn't Sonic.
It was
related.
basically the live-action Smurfs movie. You know,
It was
that's-
not. Come on.
Think about it. Come on.
Come on now. It missed. It avoided the mines. It avoided the mines.
I'm going to say something nice about the Sonic movie. Okay, I think that what's his name, Jason Schwartzman. No,
Ben
that's the
Schwartz.
guy
Ben
from
Schwartz.
Storm Pilgrim. Ben Schwartz. Hey, come on, they both have Schwartz in them. That's not that weird of a
You're
mistake.
fine.
That's the guy from Wes Anderson movies.
Yes.
What if Wes Anderson directed the Sonic movie too? That would be.
Now I'd be
interesting.
game. I've been really pushing for a Zack Snyder Sonic. But
Tail
I wanna-
spin-off,
I want-
Fantastic Mr. Fox 2.
Yeah, exactly like that. Made with dead stuffed animals that is animated using hooks. No, I think
Meat Hook
I
Massacre.
nearly did it again. I think Ben Schwartz is the best Sonic voice that there's ever been. Basically, I think
I
he's
think he's
perfect.
great.
It might be my favorite. It's
I think
very
he's my
good.
favorite too.
I
yeah.
like
Because
them all, but he's great.
Sonic, the guy doing the Sonic voice, I can't remember his name. Roger Craig Smith. I think he sucks. Not as a person. Not as a person. Like, I do not like his Sonic voice. He just makes Sonic sound like a douche I wouldn't want to spend time with. You know, and I remember going out with a friend and basically raving at them about how annoying I think Sonic's voice is, and then they went and bought Dying Light, and the first voice you hear is fucking Roger Craig
See,
Smith.
my issue wasn't really Roger, but I do think that in colors, I think it comes down partially to like direction, partially to some of his line work. Colors Sonic strikes me as the kind of guy that drives 14-year-old girls to Nando's in his Corsa.
Oh my god.
That's a really good description.
Oh no!
No shade thrown at.
He retweeted that before, and I would literally spit out my drink when I read it.
Hey,
It's just when he says Eggster.
You guys want to get in the van?
When he refers to him as the Eggster, that was the point where I was like, yeah, this guy
Hey.
dates below the age of consent.
Hey, you kids want to buy some speakers? I got some speakers.
Oh my god.
Don't
gonna
worry,
say this-
guys. It's only a gateway drug.
I'm going to say this about Roger, and I think it's just because of how long he's been allowed to be the character and the different like projects that they've moved him over to. I'm in complete agreement with Pup when he discusses Roger in terms of being the perfect voice for Boom Sonic. And I like the diversity in the vocal set. I would say that Ryan and Jason before him, they could really only stick with like one particular type of voice.
I
think
am stating
Jason-
facts.
I think Jason eventually got a little bit more nuanced with it in some of the later games, but I don't know, man. Like I would say that even just that one movie that we saw, and it could just because Ben's already, very, very
Yeah.
accustomed to what he's doing, but I think he had just the most emotional range that felt
Yeah,
both
like,
realistic and made sense for a cartoon character.
That's another thing
I
is-
just think he's got a voice that's fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't want to risk giving credit to Pontac and Graf, but like, fucking everything Sonic said prior to Roger Craig Smith was always matter of fact. He would always just be making observations about things, and like,
whoa!
there's even this video. There's even this video where someone has modded like an actual speaking mouth onto like the Ryan Drummond Sonic in Sonic Adventure 1. But everything he's saying is just this cute little observation. He thinks he's like the little David Attenborough of his world. And he's just pointing things out and stuff, commentating. Whereas when they got Roger in, Sonic actually said shit. And like, I don't want to give credit to Pontac and Graf because fuck Pontac and Graf. But like,
You'd want to.
Who are Pontac and Graf?
they're
They're
the
the writers
writers
for
of
Sonic
the
Colors.
Sonic series
Oh,
since Sonic Colors.
I'm the Happy
Like,
Tree Friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that I don't mind. I wish that Sonic drew more inspiration from Happy Tree Friends.
Yeah, I want to see Sonic's eye come out and get wrapped around a pole.
I want to see Dr. Robotnik putting wisps in fucking meat grinders and blood flying
Yeah, man.
everywhere. Like, that's how it should have been. And like the whole story of Sonic Colors could have been framed as Sonic literally draining the life force of the wisps in order to get these abilities.
Yeah, while
Sonic,
Fall
I
Out
want
Boy's
my
on
wisp
top of
shake.
Sonic's love play.
He does what must be done to save the universe, and if it means destroying the wisps, he'll do it.
And blending
Tails,
them
if
into a
saving
fine
the
mush.
universe requires just one genocide, it's better than all of them at once, isn't it?
Oh my god.
I guess so.
Think of how gruesome that black hole at the end could have been if you see
Oh,
like the wisps flying away from it and their bottom half of the wisp is getting ripped off of their head as it gets sucked into the black hole.
That's why it's
Feels
collecting
like-
all the Chaos
feels like-
Emeralds to remove half the universe. I don't know what I'm saying. It was a Thanos joke. God damn it. Oh,
Well, reality is often disappointing, Nick.
isn't it just? Isn't it just?
This day extracts a heavy
Well-
toll.
Oh man. Well, I think we've reached about the end of the conversation here, guys. We've been on for quite a while, and Stuart, thank you so much for being on the show with us today, man. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, no problem. If you ever want me to come back and say more appalling things, then just let me know.
I'm sure we'd love to have you on again.
It's nice to meet
but-
all of you.
Where can people find more of your work outside of that wonderful Nintendo Life article that everybody
Oh,
loves so much?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Stupacabra, like Chupacabra, but Stu. It's very clever and funny. There's a link tree on there, but I'll list some shit that I do because I'm gonna plug my stuff all I can. You can find me on Retronauts. I'm a presenter and contributor on that. You can find me. I do a podcast called Arseholevania, which is about coming up with incredibly bad takes on purpose and then tweeting them and seeing what happens. I do a podcast called The Dillcast where I'm reviewing with my friends Grizz and Gobbleatula. We're reviewing every single Dilbert comic in order, one per week.
What on
Uh,
earth?
Because I don't want to do things about things I enjoy. Why would I do that? I also do another fucking podcast called Animania Chat where we're reviewing every single episode of Animaniacs with my friend Luke Fletcher. And the twist there is I fucking hate the Animaniacs. They drive me crazy, and he's making me watch all of it.
Fuck.
And
Is your life
no.
literally just a constant cavalcade of everything you despise?
Yes, it
Cavalcade
is.
of
Look at
contrary.
me. I'm a Sonic fan. What do you think?
Fair enough.
Sorry, I kid. I'm just kidding, Sonic fans. I kid because I love them.
Just to experience pain to
Nah,
remember he's
you
alive.
said something I disagree with, so I now hate you on a
Yeah, that's
personal
fair.
level. How
That's
dare
fair.
you?
That's fair. And I also do a comic called Merry Hell. You can find that on merryhellcomic.com. And I'm terrible at drawing and writing, so you can guess how good that is. Yeah, thanks. Oh, and if you enjoyed the small picture on the television that represents me, it's from a comic called Dr. Robotnik and his prickly pal Sonic, which I wrote, which is about my horrible life as a Sonic fan. In fact, because I'm gonna just drag and drop it into the chat so you guys can have it. Hang on.
Please do.
But-
Because I
and-
want to see that myself.
Everyone else
Yeah.
has to pay for it, but
Oh
you
my
guys
God.
can have it for free.
We'll put some of the links after the fact when this just turns into a regular video on all that.
Yeah, right on. But anyway, yeah, seriously, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Well, thanks for being on, man. This was a lot of fun. As for the rest of us, you can find me. I'm Nick. I do the game channel, YouTube, Game Apologist. You know where that's at. Cirrus, what do you do?
I yell about people I don't like on the internet.
That's pretty cool.
That-
Where do you do that at?
Well, if they're real people, I do it on Cirrus, but if they're not real people... Sorry, Stuart, that makes you not real people. I do it
Oh my
on
God.
Cirrus. Damn it.
No, it's quite all right. I don't consider myself a real person. Do please continue.
Wayne's been voicing him this entire time.
I'm
Speaking of
basically-
Wayne, when did you get
There's
good
a
of
hand up my
ventriloquism?
butt. Yeah.
Yesterday.
No, so
Could you
you're-
please get your hand out of my ass? Thank you.
Wayne, you got
Actually, you know
anything
what? You know what? Put it back
Oh my
in.
God.
No.
Oh my God.
I was gonna say, you said you liked the war.
Fisting.
Wayne, do you have anything exciting coming up this month?
Oh,
do.
fuck yes, I do. Holy
Yes,
shit.
you do.
Starting tomorrow, it's finally happening. Metroid Month begins. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST. So I guess like 10 a.m. Pacific time.
That's about right, yeah.
Yeah, I think. I will have my like half-hour review of Metroid Prime going up at the same time as finally my secret project that I've been keeping up to wraps for the past several months will be going up at the exact same time. If you want to know what that is, I guess you'll have to watch it when it launches. And if you want to keep updated on that, just follow me on Twitter. I'll probably be sharing it. Which is at Wayne is Boss on Twitter. Oh my god, I'm so fucking excited. Yeah, that's me.
It's big, it's really big, cool stuff. You do not want to miss this. Go to Wayne is Boss at youtube.com. I'm excited, man. I'm so excited for you tomorrow.
I'm so hyped.
And let me ask you, are you doing like a premiere at all?
Unfortunately not. I'm gonna be at work tomorrow, sadly.
Alas. All right.
Yeah, I haven't really had the opportunity to enjoy like sitting down to watch a premiere or to a premiere video because so many of my videos go up on days that I'm running the store, and so I'm just like, oh, but hey, that's where we're at right now. But it'll be fine.
It absolutely would.
And then of course, all of the other Metroid Month videos will be going up on each consecutive Sunday, leading up to my review of Metroid Dread on Halloween. This Metroid Prime video, Metroid Prime 1 video was originally going to go up this Sunday. However, I did move it up a day just so it could correspond with the other channel that I'm doing something with, because they were in turn corresponding with another Metroid video that's going up tomorrow on one of their affiliates. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Pop, what are you up to?
So I don't know if I can top the scares of last October where I got hacked, but we do have a banquet of new festive fuckery for the Halloween season. I'm going to be doing some costume tutorials on how to get your Halloween on and all that shit. And we're going to be doing a Tim Burton binge, and we're going to be talking about the Burton movies and ranking them and all that good old Halloween spooky time jazz. So yeah. Come see me on my YouTube and Twitter, all Channel Pup, and yeah, fuck off.
I guess I didn't promote what I was going to do. I mean, I am still working on my Sonic Colors video, but I had to talk about Venom too. So I'm going to be editing a video. I already did the audio script, everything else last night. So I'm going to work on that for the next couple hours and hopefully get it up mid-afternoon today. So be sure you check out all this great stuff we're making for you guys. Especially Stuart, who has like a million different fucking projects.
I say there is one
I'm not
project
making stuff on.
There's one project I forgot to mention. I probably should have. I am going to be having a couple of the Sunset City guys, starting with Wayne from Rcast, on the Necosurs channel to have brief, like hour-long discussions about games and franchises that we love a lot. The first episode in that series actually went up with Trey Nobles, talking about Sonic because we couldn't figure out anything else to talk about because neither of us have lives.
I don't know what I'm going to talk about now.
I thought we already agreed.
Sonic
We already
2.
agreed with yours.
Oh yeah, what was it going to be again?
I'm buying you a copy of the first Resident Evil, and we're gonna.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Ah, sick.
Oh, this is going to be good.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us. The sun is setting on this fucking conversation. Whatever the hell we say, I don't remember. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we will see you guys next week.